this place!
Hey, man, is that
Double D?
Yeah, man. Well, turn it up, man.
Let's just go in and, like, kill all the orcs, right? They're the bad guys, who gives a shit? We just hack and slash and we loot their dead bodies, right? Hack and slash, kill them all, you know, conquer the infidels.
Boy, that campaign sounds like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Somebody who's opening a refrigerator and leaning in, right, is the language of a woman. Somebody who's opening their refrigerator and being cut off halfway through that lean is the voice of like a mermaid or a siren, right?
This is not the face of the hobby anymore. And I think there's been mistakes made in years past where people assumed that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so it's, in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
I just had to be born with empathy and a weakness for socialism and femboys. For socialism and femboys.
For socialism and femboys.
You gotta put a little hot sauce on the taco, you know what I mean?
We want this dwarf to be the dwarfiest dwarf.
Right.
We want the elf to be the elfiest elf.
And just the dashiest dash of Tabasco.
Their voices need to carry across water.
I'm a creative. It's a huge drain, right? Because fans can be awful.
When we got the descriptions, they were very adamant. They were like, try not to make it like a white blonde guy. Like, please, like, we love him, but there's like 500 million of them.
The diversity that the characters need to have needs to reflect the gaming world now. The mix of people that are playing these games, you know, it's not, 13-year-old white boys held up in their basement. It's a very diverse crowd,
You say white lives matter, they don't. White lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing.
What's this?
What's this? It's the jacket.
The jacket.
The jacket.
Lutherville, Marina Del X, Otisburg. Otisburg. Who's this monster? She's got her own place. Otisburg. It's a little bitty place. Otisburg. Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town. Yep.
Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3. Great sandwich.
And just try and whack it. Yes, this is good. And again. That's it. And again. Same breathe. Relax. Out the back up. Whoa.
Double zeros, baby!
I spelled labor wrong on his gloves. He spelled it the European way.
Well, he's European.
So
whatever.
He's
allowed.
Remember when like George Bush like misspelled potato, or was it Dan?
That was Dan Quayle. That was Dan Quayle. Yeah. No, you got a wrong O there. Didn't he? I think he thought it had an E on the end.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
He went over and corrected the little kid.
Yeah. 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 Well, how's everybody doing? Of course. Let's. Oh boy.
You got anybody in the green room?
We got somebody in the green room, but first I'm gonna do this properly.
He's holding a sack of potatoes. Spelled correctly.
Of course, it's Crazymouse. And back after a 2-week hiatus. Yes.
This is relaxing.
Hungar, the Starvarian Defender. Good
Remember
to see you
in that
here,
episode
Hungar?
of Different Strokes when they couldn't figure out what the noise was coming from downstairs, and Mr. Drummond went downstairs.
I do.
And it was Arnold he was in like a meditation pose, and he was going ow, ow.
That's where it takes you, huh?
Yep.
Mercurius, he's the tip of the spear. Been with us a long time. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. All right, I don't want to keep our guest waiting. Because if I do, his wife will kill him.
Yeah.
So
we don't want that.
So
Check out this guy shows up after a couple weeks. Hey, Chris Miller. We were asking
Miller.
about you last week.
Yeah.
You better check in on your days off.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on with
Good to see you, Chris. Oh, Hungar is here.
Yep.
Hungar lives matter more than most. More than most. Of course, this is the one and only creator of Chult, Venger Satanis.
Hey, Venger.
How's it going, Venger?
Hey.
Hey,
Surprise,
we voted
motherfuckers.
you most photogenic diver of all time. Every picture I saw of you at VengerCon, it's like you knew the camera was right on you, man. You are all smiles in every picture.
I'm like Barney Stinson. Like
awesome.
you know, I'm on the crapper, like trying to pull up my pants. Someone brings out a camera, and I'm like,
perfect.
Yeah.
The legendary Venger. How are you doing? How's the post VengerCon? You don't have the blues, do you? Afterward, do you kind of like wait for it, build up, and then it's over, and then you're kind of flat afterward?
you know, I felt a little bit of, well, it's a mixed bag. You know, I felt a little bit of like relief, like, all right, it's, you know, it's in the can, it's done. You know, I don't have to worry anymore about like, you know, I always have those worries like 2 days before the convention, you wake up with like, you know, a sore throat and you're all congested. You're like, I feel like hell. And like, that's like worst case scenario, probably. So yeah, you know, you're glad that didn't happen. And you're glad that after the trip to Chipotle or wherever, you didn't like shit your pants while you were GMing. That's also awesome.
Did that happen?
No, thankfully it didn't.
Did that ever happen at some point?
There have been times where I'm game mastering, I'm like, I have to use the restroom right now.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
Never trust a fart.
Yeah, I've had those moments. Not DMing. You know, fortunately, I do the DMing here, and you know, a bathroom is in easy reach. But I tell you, I had a couple of. I had Taco Bell. I don't eat there a lot, but sometimes it's the only place open on Wednesdays late.
Sure.
I had a Taco Bell moment the morning after. Like I barely made it. I'm just like, oh my God, that was too close for comfort.
Yeah. Well, especially at a convention where you're eating all kinds of like weird food that you don't normally eat.
For sure.
I mean, I eat this kind of junk by my house, which VengerCon is, all the time. So I didn't have any like weird digestive issues, but I'm always eating like Popeyes and like spicy Chinese food and you know, Qdoba or some other Mexican place or whatever. So you never know what's gonna happen.
Let me pick up this super chat here from Patrick Demo, $5. Good, there it is. We can't start a Venger stream without a surprise, motherfuckers.
I try not to disappoint.
Indeed.
And then of course you get back and your wife is just like right there, like, you know, okay, you've been like doing your own thing for like 3 days straight, plus all the shenanigans of like preparing and getting the convention ready. So like, now you have to work like triple time. What are you going to do for me?
Take care
and
of
the kids and the household and like everything else you've been slacking off on, or, you know, whatever. So you got to deal with that. And then once that's done, then yeah, you miss all the cool conversations and the gaming and
well, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. Me and Mrs. D had a great time.
Awesome.
I guess the only disappointment is I didn't get to get into one of your games, although I was like I told others, Mrs. D is probably not one for Chult. I kind of described it to her. She's like, oh no. She's like, he seems nice, but I don't want any of that now. I'm like, I understand, dear. So
it's a little bit more of a guys only kind of, not that women are invited, but there's D&D and then there's like Vengerized D&D where, you know, it's just guys being guys, and sometimes women would like a little partition between spaces of like normal gaming and whatever the fuck I do.
Mrs. D understands that too. She
Yeah.
she was even wondering, like, boy, I'm the first woman here. She's like, I didn't want to.
She was the first woman here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think she held her own. You know, she was worried about that, but she's pretty experienced. So, you know, she's been playing for almost 30 years. So, but yeah,
Nice.
Chalt. We'll have to ease her into the Chalt.
Yeah.
All right. So let me first of all,
Chris Miller said he's got something for you, Venger.
Okay.
Ooh, I will definitely return next year, and I'll try to get in on Thursday. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, driving all that is crazy.
Yeah,
You came up for essentially like one full day, but man, that is dedication. We love seeing you though. He's a great guy.
He was awesome. He was in my Chult game, one of the many Chult games I ran, and actually I only ran like 2 or 3, so it wasn't that many. And yeah, he had a great time. He got to experience what it's like when I'm running the game and when we're using Crimson Dragon Slayer and when we're in Chult. It's like probably to someone that normally plays D&D or like something like Pathfinder or another OSR game, and they're used to like Forgotten Realms or Nistara or whatever.
Yep.
You know, gaming with me is like kind of a different experience, not just like the whole boys club thing, but it's like high octane, kind of like more improv theater a little bit, because I love combat, but I don't let it dominate the game. Where you know, because I love exploration, I love social interaction too. So it's kind of a different experience, I think, than most games people play in. And yeah, Chris loved it, and he ate it up, and he brought a lot of energy, and we fed off that, and it was a crazy, wild, awesome time.
Jeff Hatch says he's gonna be there next year, and he'll be in on a Thursday.
Nice. Yeah, I can't fully commit yet, but I am leaning towards going. It just kind of all depends on how our summer schedule looks. But we had a good time. I would like to go for just gaming. It's a really good convention. I got into.
Well, if enough people show up Thursday night, I could try to arrange something so people aren't just like arriving and I don't know, eating and get a drink at the bar, and then like going to sleep. I probably would try to arrange like some form of entertainment, or like maybe we hang out and drink for a little bit. In preparation for Friday morning. I don't know, something. I'm open.
Jeff from Denkar, $2 Canadian. Good evening, gents. Enjoying the Chalt PDFs he got. So thank you, Jeffrem.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you very much. So well, speaking of that, let's talk about your latest concoction, Primordial Chaose. Gonzo,
yes.
Like a bleeping boss. So give us the elevator pitch for this little project you got going on here.
Okay. Well, it started with a failed Kickstarter, which was my last one, because I wanted to do another digital comic. I was calling it a web comic, but Judd from the convention said it's more what you're talking about, Venger, is more of like a digital comic. So yeah, set in the Chult world. It's called Lavender Moons of Chult, and yeah, it didn't make it. And I'm like, well, I want to do something. I want the next Kickstarter to be successful, because I did like 26 successful ones, and then this one failed. I'm like, well, I want to do something that people really want, since I kind of misjudged, I guess, what the fan base was kind of after. And so I did a Twitter poll, or X, whatever, and that was the winner. Was a guide to Gonzo. And I mean, I've always loved Gonzo. Ever since I got my feet wet with, basic D&D, I've kind of always gravitated towards like, oh, why don't we, I started small. Like, why don't we mix in like, spaceships and lasers and robots? And then I'm like, oh, why don't we mix in like stuff from like Land of the Lost and ice pirates and 1 million years BC or something
Ice
like that.
Pirates, I love it.
Yeah, and then and now I'm at the point where I'm like, let's combine like the little singing, dancing alien thing from the end of Spaceballs with like the Kool-Aid Man and like tentacled unicorns, like and then we'll stimulate like a sleaze card, and then we'll go from there. So I'm like, I'm always upping the ante and going like, turning it up to 11. And a lot of people I realized just aren't familiar with Gonzo, or they like it from a distance, but they just don't have enough experience with it, or they don't know how to incorporate it in their game, or they like it and they do incorporate it in their game and they're kind of looking for more and different ways of doing things. And so I'm like, I've been steeped in Gonzo for so long, especially with Chalt and the 2 campaigns that I've been running, that why don't I just do a whole book on Gonzo and talk about, from a game master's perspective, a little bit of a player too, but mostly a GM, and just go through all the things like different aspects of Gonzo and different gameable stuff that you can incorporate in your game, different ways of bringing in this and that and the other thing.
So this is kind of like a how-to guide almost.
Yeah, how to. I think it's like everything I write. I try to gear it for both noobs and veterans by using like kind of simple principles and language, but also going farther and deeper than a casual like how-to guide would stretch.
Jeff Hatch wants to know, because I think that right now this is PDF only. Will there be a print copy of this, or can you only afford to maybe just do the PDF right now?
Yeah, I'm just doing PDF. I still have so many books in my basement, and that's always a sticking point with my wife. She's like, until you can get a few more hundred of these books out of here, like I don't want you doing any more print stuff. It's just to be PDF only. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll take what I can get. Because she's right.
Jeff,
there's a shit ton of Chult books in our basement.
Got to listen to the boss.
Point taken. Yeah.
Chris Miller says for $5, I love the cover. Is that the banana you had on the table at the Chult game?
Of course.
Nice.
It's the real live banana. Yes.
Hungar for $5 says, I'm backing that, and Venger will autograph it to Hungar for me. Well, if you get the because there is a let me go back here to the if you let me have control for one moment here, because I think there is a level where if you don't have the Chult book, you can get the hardcover of that, right? You get the
right.
You get this
there's an option for the Chult hardcover, and then if you want the entire trilogy, as I think of yesterday, I think I lowered the price because there were 0 backers for the top tier, the trilogy of hardcovers. So I lowered that from 111 to like 90. So to just kind of like make it more reasonable in these uncertain economic times for people to afford that. So if they want to get their feet wet, just a few more bucks, and you can get the full Monty, the whole entire trilogy.
I'm only seeing here, I see the PDF for 20. That sounds good. The Primordial, the PDF, and the Chult hardcover for 40. That actually sounds like a pretty good deal. I'm not seeing anything else. Is this? Is there another?
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, if you look on screen, you'll see like there's the 20.
Yeah.
There's the 40, and then it doesn't look like there's anything else underneath.
So, I might have fucked that up again when I tried to change it. Hang on, I'm gonna look at it myself real quick.
But if you guys are interested in like the whole trilogy, just hold off for a second, and maybe he can see what's going on.
You got some housekeeping.
Yep. Gotcha. We'll go back to that.
I got him.
I see it on mine.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe maybe I was doing something wrong. Patrick Demo, $2. Drive through aside, couldn't you still do print on demand? He says.
Yeah. The way I did print on demand with prior Kickstarters is I would upload the files, and then I would get like a test copy, and if that looked good, then I would order as many as people wanted for the Kickstarter, plus 10 or 15%, and then I would have them all shipped to me, and then I would sign them, and I'd mail them out individually to everybody that backs the project. I know there's other ways of doing it, where people like sort of include the price for what the softcover would be, and then they have to pay like the difference between like wholesale and retailer or something, or they have to pay just the cost of like the printing. I don't know. I don't really know how that works, which is why I didn't really explore it that much. So yeah, for right now, I'm just going to do PDF only. If that changes or whatever, you know, I'll update people on the Kickstarter. But for right now, I mean, there's less than 2 weeks left.
Yeah. Take it up to take it up to Staples. You can get the PDF printed, you know, something like that. Chris Miller says for $5, I'm going to do your wife a favor and get all the books. Ooh, there you go.
Ooh,
there you go. Thank you, guys. Yeah, definitely take a look. If you kind of want to even, you know, maybe sprinkle a little bit of Gonzo into your dungeons, it's like a powerful spice. Sounds like this is the way to do it. You're going to learn from the master here, at the knee of the master. Yes. All right, so
I have a.
Go ahead.
I'm just brainstorming here.
Mm-hmm.
If your convention is just a couple weeks before Gen Con, and something like Chris Miller, I'm not putting anybody on the spot, I'm just spitting. If Chris Miller is going to Gen Con and he wants to run a table with Patrick, why don't they just take your books and take them to Gen Con and try to sell them at Gen Con if you don't go to Gen Con?
Oh, like on consignment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That'd
Because
be
some
cool.
people
Sure.
go to your convention and they go to Gen Con.
Right.
And some people there run a table.
There's definitely a market, like a niche market, because James Raggy was at Gen Con this year, and he said he was doing very good business.
Boom.
Yeah, I saw that. He, which I mean, it surprised me a little bit, but I guess there's so many people at Gen Con that you could have like a glass of water with a little, you know, little tag on it that says like D&D water, $5, and people will buy it. You know.
Yeah. Well, Chris Miller says he would definitely do that.
Chris Miller says
I
he'd
don't know,
do it. Chris Miller
it's a good
comes in-
thought. Good thought.
Chris and Patrick come in like clutch for everything that we ask. These guys just show up. Divers, man. Thank
Solid.
you guys so much. Yep.
Solid dudes.
Yes. You got mentioned by by Kelsey Dion, you know, the Shadowdark master. I saw her on the elevator at Gen Con, and I knew it was her. And as I turned around, I'm like, Kelsey Dion, Shadowdark. She's like, yeah. I just said, how you doing? You know, I'm like, I said, I played your game at Venger Con. And she kind of chuckled. She's like, oh, yeah, he's from Wisconsin. I know. And then I actually got to talk to her a little bit later on, and she's like, yeah, Venger used to come into the game store I used to work at.
Yep.
She said you were very nice. Yeah. So do you remember her? Do you remember interacting with her?
I think so. You know, every once in a while I would probably have a question or like chit chat about stuff.
Yeah.
I know Lori used to be the owner and manager. Sometimes I would talk to her. Pegasus Games was where I
blackballed? Have you been like blackballed sort of in that area, like locally, like as far as
a
like,
little
the
bit,
gaming scene?
yeah. Misty Mountain Games banned me from their store. That's in Madison. Madison has like 2 or 3 different decent sized RPG stores that, you know, sell a lot of card games and board games and stuff like that. But yeah, they refused to have me in their store, and they refused to sell Chult.
Wow.
That was over the whole like 2020 like Black Lives Matter things. And then people got all upset when I started VentureCon, and I'm like, I'm not going to make people wear a mask at a gaming convention, and I'm not going to make people get a vaccine if they don't want to.
Yep.
And that upset a lot of people, a lot of the establishment, a lot of the leftists out there in the gaming industry and community. And so, yeah, they kind of blackballed me in a couple spots, but still here.
That's sad. It's sad that that's kind of the world we live in, but it's not surprising. But you're still prospering, so, and it's their loss, in my opinion. Because
I'm hoping that it's changing. Like, things are turning around, the pendulum swinging, etc.
Well, somebody brought up that you, I guess you ran into her at GaryCon a couple years ago, and she certainly wasn't. Look, she talked to me fine. I mean, I doubt she'll ever be on the show, just because she doesn't need to be on the show. She's doing great on her own. So there's no need for that risk or the blowback that she probably gets.
Yeah.
But she's obviously willing to talk to people. Like, she was very sweet, very kind, nice, and obviously she took a picture with you. I'm sure she was nice. So
yeah, if you go back to my convention reports on the Venger's Old School Gaming blog, if you go back to last year, not this past GaryCon, but the year before that, so March of 2023, thereabouts. I posted a picture that we took of me, a gaming friend who, weird story, after almost a year of playing in my troll campaign, we had a movie night. This was like 2 weeks after my birthday. We had a movie night, and we watched this exploitation film. And then he seemed fine afterwards, but then the next day he sent me some weird text messages, and then he completely ghosted me and our entire gaming group, and just left the campaign and just went bye-bye.
Wow.
And he's the one that knew Kelsey, which is because he used to, before she came out as a lesbian, I guess, he used to date her. I don't know, it's just all weird.
Wow.
But yeah, there's a picture with me and him. And then her, and then one of her friends, I think.
Okay. that is
I apparently weird a very,
it's like a soap opera.
I have like weird people in my periphery, like surrounding me. It's just, I don't know. It's probably like being in the RPG hobby with Hunter S. Thompson or something like that. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I know your time's limited. But I just wanted to get your thoughts. And by the way, guys, the link to the Kickstarter is in the description.
In the description below.
Yeah. So just go ahead and go over there and check it out. See if you want to sprinkle a little bit of Gonzo in your game. Before I ask you that, we'll pick that up. Crazymouse, thank you. $10 Canadian. Jeff from Denkar, thank you. Question: hit a red button and close either Wizards of the Coast, Paizo, Cobalt Press, Green Ronin, or Evil Hat.
Yes.
But you must pick one other and shill their products for 5 years. Do you hit the button, and who do you pick? Oh boy, that is
it's like a game of Would You Rather.
Yeah, keep that up there, because we may need we're gonna have to refer to that.
Can I just close them all?
I was gonna say,
it is an option. That is the long term. That is the
honestly, they're all really bad. As far as I go, probably Cobalt Press is probably the least evil of all those guys. So I guess I would do it holding my nose, because I really don't like any of their stuff. I don't think it's like aggressively awful, but I just don't like it. But that's probably who I'd pick to survive, and everybody else, they can go circle the drain. What about you, Venger?
If I had to pick one to get rid of completely, it would be Wizards of the Coast. I just think what they've done to D&D 6th edition has just been like so egregiously terrible. I mean, it's really on par with what Disney has done with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if I think about it too hard, it would probably make me physically ill.
It's a travesty.
Yeah,
it's awful.
it is. It's super sad. I know that
they do the most damage of all those companies.
Yeah.
Like some companies are probably like Green Ronin is run by a full-blown Antifa member. Evil Hat is
Yeah.
so woke. I mean, they're
Yeah.
almost completely up their own ass. So they're actually quote
Yeah.
unquote worse, but their reach.
That's what Patrick
less.
picked. Double D.
Mm-hmm.
He super chatted in there. He would close Evil Hat and pick Kobold.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get that in there. Yeah, Patrick Demo. Yeah, close Evil Hat and pick Kobold. Yeah, I could get behind Vengers. Either way, I would pick Kobold to survive, just because, like I said, they're the one-eyed man in the land of the blind. But
right,
you could make a good case for Wizards of the Coast, just because they've done the most damage to the hobby, and they refuse to change. So. All right, so what do you think of? Have you been following the whole Mythic dungeon?
I have a little bit. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, it kind of started. I don't know if it's like quote unquote bro SR, which kind of colors everything, and I hate doing that, because it is kind of an interesting discussion. This thought that, hey, you shouldn't maybe worry too much about where things are coming from in a dungeon. It doesn't always have to make sense. Because these are mythical places that are inhabited by mythical creatures, and it's kind of like maybe like the gods kind of I guess playing around and inhabiting the dungeon with whatever they choose. Some people say that's just kind of an excuse for maybe just having like a Funhouse Dungeon that doesn't make sense. And the reason I wanted your thoughts on it, because you love yourself a Funhouse every once in a while. I know.
I do love myself some Funhouse. Yes.
So where do you stand on this whole thing?
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely all for it. I think if history and society, and we just look around, if that's taught us anything, it's that anything can be normalized, and anything can be treated as like, oh yeah, that's a thing, or that's legit. I mean, without getting into the weeds, just look at our political situation right now. I mean, if you had gone back in the time machine 20 years and told people like what things were like now, people are like, no,
yeah.
F you, that's that's not true, that can't be. You'd be like, no, it is. So I run a game, I run Chult with, even the tentacles have tentacles. And you got banana men running around, and,
so it doesn't have to be any sort of logic to it. It can just kind of exist, and it's there to kind of entertain.
If you treat it like it's normal for that area, people will accept it as normal eventually. I mean, there are certain things you could do to normalize it.
It sort of was normal in like the early days of D&D. That's
right.
I don't know how far back you go, but I mean that kind of was, in some of those early modules, some of the stuff didn't kind of make sense, but
right.
Maybe we were looking at it through the lens of a child. Maybe that is the way to look at these things.
Well, back then it was kind of like the Wild West of genres, where you could really, you could do kind of anything. They restrained themselves, to a degree. But yeah, you had lasers and spaceships and aliens and things like that. Arduin and later rifts and things like that. But then also there are different techniques and things you can do as a game master to make things weird. Even innocuous things like, the party finds a black box, like on the cave floor. There are different things you could do to ramp up the mystery and the strangeness, and like how weird an alien it is, and things like that. And players respond to that, and generally I found they love that kind of thing. They love confronting something that is steeped in the unknown and sometimes that's frightening, and sometimes that's more comical or just weird. And people really respond to that. They love it. And I think if you never bring that into your game, you're definitely missing out. So
I think this is something I've actually been thinking of it quite a bit, because I did a stream Saturday, and I wouldn't be surprised if my
surprise stream
Saturday,
surprise stream, motherfuckers!
surprise motherfuckers. Well, I'll tell you where I'm at right now after we read something from a gentleman and a scholar. Chris Miller, $5. I played a cowboy hat wearing J.R. Ewing as a medical robot who dispensed drugs via Pez dispenser head. Yes, that was Adventure.
That's right. Yeah, that was the session that I incorporated the role-playing game Dallas with Charles. And I think it went really well because Charles is a Gonzo game, and you can really do almost anything with it and not break people's suspension of disbelief.
I think that helps, having a setting, a little, if it's kind of like a generic setting or, one that kind of leans into it.
Right.
Then, you can kind of lean into that sort of, motif where, look, things don't have to make sense. I'd like for Birthright, it's a little more grounded.
Right.
I think you can still incorporate, like, my perfect dungeon as far as this goes, it's probably a cliche, but it would go back to like Moria in Lord of the Rings, because there you have a dungeon that quote unquote makes sense. Dwarves built it, dwarves tried to reclaim it, got overrun. That's kind of like the normal naturalistic, now it's inhabited by these creatures who live there because it's a great place to live. They didn't have to build it, and they can just kind of inhabit it. Yet there's this kind of vague, the dwarves dug too deep or something like that, and then down below is a Balrog. Well, you don't have to understand what the Balrog's doing all the time. It just has to kind of exist down deep, where they dug too deep, and that's, to me, that's almost perfect. It's like there's kind of a level of naturalism which makes sense, but maybe the deeper you go, the less it kind of has to make sense, coming up. So I really have been thinking about it. I'm like, it does kind of make sense for certain things. It wouldn't make sense in all instances, but this is maybe kind of where you have to kind of let go just a hair, and maybe let fun kind of take control, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah. If you're playing a normal non-Gonzo kind of campaign, there can be little pockets or zones where you kind of lay your hair down, and it can get pretty crazy and wild and Gonzo. And I think that's it. I mean, the players will buy into that and will understand it.
Yeah.
Plus,
it's great. It's great for a convention game. It's great
plus
for a
it just
convention
feels right.
game.
I mean, it makes sense on an intuitive and just a rational level, that the further you go away from civilization and the surface and the sun and everything normal, the further down you go, the crazier and more dangerous things can get. I mean, if you look at it from a psychological point of view, like the further down you go into, your unconscious mind, you're going to find some weird, dark things, and you explore those or dredge them up, and it's it could go.
It's like Dante's,
sideways.
the levels of hell.
Balls to the wall, or it can scare the shit out of you, or it could just be like nonsensical and absurd, like Alice in Wonderland or something.
Right. Our friend Snake Oil Sean for $5. Thank you, Sean. Asks Venger, which is a better Gonzo character class, mutant or psychic?
I would say mutant. Just because I think to myself, and I think a lot of people out there, especially in the RPG hobby, Gonzo, not necessarily, but a lot of times goes hand in hand with post-apocalypse and like after the bomb and that kind of like gamma world type stuff. And I think mutants are just kind of they just feel more Gonzo. A psychic could be from a lot of things. You could do like Call of Cthulhu with the psychic character, or you can play a sci-fi game and have a psychic, and those aren't Gonzo at all necessarily. So yeah, I would definitely go with mutants.
Or as Jeff Hatch says, psychic mutant.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, sorry, Jeff, about the Kamala ad. Obviously, I had nothing to do with that. I don't know what YouTube thinks about that. What their algorithm is saying.
We are the
We're
demographic.
placing one here.
Is it Kamala the Ugandan giant?
No. This is Kamala the communist candidate. All right. Well, we'll take a look one last time here. Let's go over it, because like I said, I know your time is limited. All right, so oops, yeah, there's the campaign. I love the incorporation of the alien from Spaceballs.
Thank you.
That is primo. That is probably one of the funniest scenes in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Jeff from Denkar, what's been each of yours favorite Gonzo character to play? Mouse and Rogan too. Mine's from Riffs is Mr. Fish, my dolphin mage vampire hunter. Yikes. Venger, do you get to go behind or in front of the screen and play very often?
Not very often. Usually when I do, it's at VentureCon. That's usually when I play a session or two, and also I run stuff at every convention I go to. But yeah, that's when I get to play. Yep. But when I'm behind the screen, I role play various Gonzo NPCs. A lot of times I will take a character from like a sitcom or something like that, and then I'll just give them like just a light wash of Gonzo something else over the top to sort of flesh out that character. So it's not just me doing impression of, for example, like Barney Stinson. It's like that plus maybe Willy Wonka or something like that. And I'll just try to combine those ideas in my head into synthesize them into one thing, and then come up with ideas based on that concept.
Rogan, any do you remember any sort of I know I don't usually do Gonzo very much, so this may be relative, but I do remember the infamous Call of Cthulhu game where you were playing the the guy who he wasn't very Gonzo, but he was annoying.
Yeah, he was the scientist who had he was
a young German, right?
Yes, yeah, he's a German scientist. Yes, he had a penchant for porn and protein bars.
Porn and protein bars, yeah. Crazymouse, you probably I'm trying to think of your craziest character. I don't.
Well,
you pretty.
I actually have one right now, and I'm nervous to let the cat out of the bag because it hasn't been developed all the way yet.
Oh, okay.
But it's actually in the campaign that Rogan's running, where we're the high school kids.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, Rogan's doing a Tales from the Hoop.
It is a mixture of Sheldon from Big Bang Theory and somebody else who I can't say because
don't give it away.
I can't give it away. I apologize, fans. I cannot give it away.
Is it Nicolas Cage?
Well, it's because Double D actually hasn't made his roll yet. He's tried like 7 times and he just keeps missing.
All right, I will make it when we jump back into that.
But it is actually, it's not a cult classic movie, but it's a very popular movie, and it's a mix between Sheldon and this character. And when Double D finally solves it, it'll be like, oh my god!
It'll be like
Is it not cult classic because it's not classic enough, or because it's more mainstream?
It is extremely mainstream.
Ah, okay.
All right. Well, and when it happens, you'll be the. We'll come right here and break the news. We'll break the news.
We did have one Gonzo character in the one game that we played, our birthright campaign. We were over and that was
across the sea.
Gavin Morgan's character they played briefly. That character went Gonzo.
Oh, jeez. Talking about the one that just walked away, or
no, the one that went,
the one that shit the bed, literally.
Pants
less said about that, the better.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I tend when I play, I tend to be pretty rational. Guys, you're dealing with an accountant here. I have a very rational brain. I am playing right now. There is an NPC in their party, and I'm trying to balance. He's certainly an NPC, so he needs to stay in the background, but he's the leader of his own adventuring party. He's kind of teamed up with these guys. His name's Bavarna, and he's kind of based on Hulk Hogan and Sid Vicious,
and Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, he finally did something as Crazymouse. Crazymouse doesn't seem to be a huge fan of his, but
the whole party wasn't a huge fan of his. And for the first time, he made a roll this last week when we really actually needed.
Yeah, when he needed,
we really needed it. Yeah. But in every fight, he hasn't done anything yet. Yeah. I like that people are trying to guess what my thing is. And I've gotten Ducky from Pretty in Pink, something from Christian Slater, Deadpool, Scott Baio from
Zapped. I love it. Well, here you go, guys. Y'all got any more of that Zoth? The link is in the description of this live stream. Venger, according to RPG Pundit, Venger is the master of stupid Gonzo fantasy.
Someone wrote in the chat a little bit ago. I didn't want to interrupt. It was that Chalt is the perfect one-off game.
Yeah, it'd be a really good convention game.
It was mentioned earlier, and someone else doubled down on it as well. Sounds like you got something great there.
Yeah. So guys, if you just want to dabble your feet into it, look into getting the PDF and then the Chalt hardcover for it's $40. That's a pretty good deal.
Not for nothing. Why don't you just buy the game now, get used to it, and then next year in June, or I'm sorry, end of July, just go to VengerCon. Yeah. Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved.
All right.
We got Jeff Hatch.
Jeff Hatch for $10. Thank you, Jeff. I'll be relocating to Harrison, Arkansas in September. My home is a huge 3-bedroom with 2 gaming tables, a built-in theater, and a guest room. Wow. Sounds inviting.
Can I move
I'll
in?
be holding a small convention in March. Damn.
HatchCon.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. Good luck in
the
new digs.
He called it HatchCon in an earlier
post,
he did? Okay.
There you go.
Unless somebody else named it and he never changed, corrected them. So it might just be called HatchCon.
I like HatchCon.
HatchCon makes more sense.
Yeah,
he just typed it. It is HatchCon.
Oh, it is HatchCon. Okay.
I thought I saw that. Yep.
Nice.
That's why Double D pays me the big bucks.
That's right. My man. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll let you go. We don't want to bring down the wrath of Mrs. Venger.
It's coming.
Tell her hello from all of us. And
I will.
Yeah, everybody check it out. Let's make this let's make this happen. Start a new streak of for Venger's Kickstarters. You had a lot of success early on. Give it a look. I don't have the rule book. I may get the $40 PDF and hardcover.
Not for nothing. On a serious note, Venger, it sounds like Chris Miller is willing to help out with those books and maybe try to sell some at Gen Con.
Keep it in the back of your minds.
Yeah.
We got
we'll definitely
got a whole
revisit
year.
that at another time. Yeah.
Yes. According to my wife, I am willing to take a loss on the books just to get them the fuck out of here.
You get a book. You get a book. You get a book.
Yeah,
Oprah, you didn't even want a book. You're getting five.
If that falls through, send them to us. We'll just give them away at the right in front of the
I
Steak
might,
and Shake.
I might have to do that after a while. Yeah.
Give them to everybody that buys one of those shitty hot box pizzas.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Yeah. Here's your yeah. Good Lord. Okay. Venger, we'll let you go. Good to see you,
All
buddy. We'll talk soon.
Have
Take
a
care,
great one,
Awesome.
Venger. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yep. See ya.
Oh my Lord.
Such a nice guy. He's so photogenic, man.
He is, yeah.
It's like, and he keeps referencing Barney Stinson. I know the character. I've never watched the show. It's How I Met Your Mother. And there's his MO is like they try to catch him in a bad pose and they just can never do it. And he always is like takes the best pictures no matter where he is or what the situation is. And Venger referenced it a couple times and he does. Every picture from you showed from VengerCon, he's in the background. You don't even know the picture could be of Mrs. Double D and there's Venger in the background.
We have a friend who's like that. Very
his are only in amusement parks.
Yeah, his is only ice.
That's it.
Chris Miller for $5. Ask Venger if you're still out there. Venger, hit me up later. He will take your books and sell them at cons. Yeah, that's good. If Chris goes to any others, maybe he can.
Chris,
kinda
we'll definitely bring that up again at another time. But thanks even for. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I'm just trying to make things happen for all these people who all have. Everyone here has similar interests. You know, like so.
That's a good. It was a good thought. Very good thought.
We're trying to make stuff happen here.
Yeah. So, and I know you guys can connect on Twitter too or X. So I'm sure if you guys can come to some sort of an arrangement, and help. We're connecting people, helping people.
And it looks like if I'm going to Gen Con next year, which is so up in the air, it's so far away.
Yeah.
Me and Chris I might volunteer to help at his table that one day or something like that.
Yeah, Mrs. D was talking about that too. Like, she's like, maybe we should help the demos out.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Chris and Patrick going in on a table together?
Yeah, I think they were talking about it.
Yeah,
I think they were talking.
So,
about it,
me and Mrs. Double D can freaking fold shirts, do whatever you need, sell some books, barter with people, like do whatever you need.
Yeah.
You have some T-shirts and some hugs to sell.
Yep,
some ham sandwiches.
Free hugs. Yeah, I'll give those out. Yeah, you guys do the work. I'm the star. I'll just give out the handshakes and the hugs.
I'll just be wearing mouse ears.
All right, so yeah, it's always great to catch up with. I love Venger.
It sounds like, and then also in the notes, sounds like HatchCon, like he really, I think he's being kind of serious. He wants to do something in March. Which sounds so far away, but it's really
it's not.
No,
it's 4 and 3. It's just about half a year coming up,
and it goes by amazingly fast.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
it does.
Because you know why? Because you get so caught up in the holidays in like November and December, then you flip that calendar and boom.
Yeah, I'll be the booth babe, as Patty says. Patty, let us know how many are live over on Rumble if you could. Patrick Demo, just FYI, he's still open to that. Well, good. You know, like I said, we don't want to speak for you or do business for you, Patrick, but you know, if we can help each other and it works, it has to make sense business wise for
everybody, right?
Yeah, so DD becomes a BB. God, Gen Con used to be so good for that. There used to be a lot of like booth babes out there, and
get that girl that washes the Batmobile. What's she doing?
Oh, Marisha Ray, yeah. She is doing Critical Role. She don't need to do that.
Deep
stuff
down inside, she wants a real man.
She wants to do it.
She wants a real man. She wants to do that.
Be like Clubber Lang at that unveiling of the statue. Hey, woman!
She come over, I'll show you what a real man's like. Yeah, John Osborne, I miss booth babes. I do too. I remember I used to like look for Marie Claude Bourbonnais, French Canadian booth babe. She would always go to Gen Con.
Yeah.
Oh, so
they
sweet.
banned booth babes. Patrick is saying 6 years ago. What a crock!
Oh, they actually did ban. I just thought it was a self.
Oh man,
kind of like a self thing. Like, oh, we don't want to be unsporting. Or,
no,
why?
Yeah.
It's
What's
good.
next? Getting rid of ring girls at a boxing match?
Yeah.
Cheerleaders at a football game?
The people who claim to respect women and all that, they don't want women to make their own choices and make their own money, because there were women who probably made money from that, whether either directly or indirectly.
Of course. And it's exposure for them.
Yeah, they liked it.
They're cosplayers.
Yes.
That's their thing.
Yeah.
They're hot and they're cosplayers.
It's just, and everybody thinks like, oh my God, they were pod. And I come on, this is like Gen Con. It's like people took pictures with them. Well placed, sir.
I remember
drag booth, baby.
I remember the lady that's at Flight. I think it was Flight of Fantasy in the blue dress as we were going through the con the one year, and she had a remarkable figure, beautiful hair.
Yeah.
You know, and
ugly
we're
face.
walking by, and she looked like something out of a Mad magazine. It was heartbreirking.
Yeah, boy, that backside though. I still remember that.
Shapely,
That
was a 10.
Well, I saw who she was with, and I'm like, something ain't right here, because that is a 10 as far as like the backside, and she was with just some gaming goober, and I'm like, what's going on here?
Right.
Why the mismatch? And then she turned around. I'm like, oh, that's the reason for the mismatch.
Well, it's Miller time for the both of them.
Yeah, definitely a butterface.
Yeah, melting.
What if they got rid of hot girls at Old Navy? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's sacrilege.
I know. For those who don't know, just go to your local Old Navy. The place is crawling with supermodels.
He knows what he speaks of. He used to work there.
I worked there at Old Navy.
All right. Go over to our EFAP screen. All right. So Bob released a video today.
All right.
Is Grace in it?
No, Grace isn't in it.
I understand she's a pretty lady.
All right.
Hey, I'm Bob. This is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and this is a straightforward overview of what you really get in the Dungeons & Dragons 5e 2024 Player's Handbook, making some comparisons to other resources from D&D, and even a few other fantasy.
Who did you just look at?
Yeah, somebody off. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, I think the Pinkertons are there with the gun.
It's a bear.
The bear.
I'm risking my life for this book review.
It's like
games. And here it is. The 2024 Player's Handbook is hardcover, decent quality construction.
It's probably the guy it's probably that new lady that's in charge or whatever. You better say something good or I'm going to wring your neck.
Yeah, the new CFO, whatever, or CEO, whatever her name is. Is Bob in Jonestown, says Bleecker. Could be French Guiana. Could be.
Jeff Hatch, that's no good.
Oh,
that's bad.
Jeff Hatch.
That's bad.
Come on now. We like Bob. We like Grace. His redemption is almost complete. Well, maybe not, but still. I like how it's hardcover, and then he like hits it.
Tap, tap,
he
tap.
probably wrote that in as like, pause for laughs.
Pretty easily compatible with the previous Player's Handbook and beautifully illustrated inside and out.
It's pretty thick.
I don't know about that beautifully illustrated. Didn't we see some?
Yeah. We've been over that ad nauseum. Let's just say although I did watch a little of this. He does take a dig at it at the cover. It's a subtle dig. I feel for Bob in one way. He doesn't. I don't think he particularly likes 5e, or he's just kind of lukewarm towards it. But this is where he makes his money.
Nearly 400
and
pages.
Don't forget, that's his mic he got for Christmas. Remember, he got that super nice mic?
Yeah, so he can go remote. I want to get one of those now. I want to be Bob.
Christmas is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I'll tell Mrs. Double D. I'll send her a text message. Not for nothing.
We'll do the lair in the middle of December out in the yard.
Oh, boy.
We'll do it.
Double D on location here. It's 3 below.
Long, but pretty easily searchable thanks to the new rules glossary in the back, and it offers you not one, but 2 games.
What?
How tall is he?
He can't be that tall. I didn't see Bob at Gen Con, but all those guys are just so small. I tower over them. He just doesn't look very tall to me. He does not look very tall.
Name the first. Roughly the first 30 pages. This is the fun game you play with your friends, pretending to be elves and dragon people, rolling a 20-sided die, fighting goblins and dragons, taming an owlbear. You know it, you love it. And
you know it, you love it. Marvelous Mr. Mean, $5. Bob is referring to how good the artwork is for the combat wheelchairs. Yeah, maybe. Chris Miller, $10. This isn't one of those low-quality books where the pages fall out, tap, tap. I'd like to see Demolition Ranch use the book for a bullet test. Yeah, you and me both, pal. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, Marvelous Mr. Mean.
really, it has not changed since the previous version of the Player's Handbook that came out 10 years ago. So if you're only ever the Game Master, you don't really need to buy this new book. But Game the Second, over 300 pages of this book, is the fun game you play by yourself.
Good night, Jeff. Jeff, have a good one.
Oh, yeah.
See you, Jeff.
Yeah, good night, Jeff.
And good luck on that move. September's literally right around the corner.
I was gonna say,
so
that's
good
coming
luck
up.
with that.
Yeah, safe travels.
Yep.
Hope everything gets to where it needs to be.
Spending hours researching through hundreds of mechanical character options to lovingly craft a vaguely medieval-themed superhero who will accomplish those deeds. So if you're a player who wants all the most up-to-date official options, you do want this book. But if you can wait a couple months, you'll get a portion of them for free from D&D in early 2025, and that free portion will be easily enough material for the beginner or the casual player. What did Bob just suggest? Not buying the Player's Handbook or like waiting to buy it? What a hater, dude. That guy hates D&D. No, I love D&D, but I mostly value the game that I get.
He's been taking lessons from the master, Ginny D.
He just got poison ivy.
To play with my friends. That's why I do this stuff. And there are many books and resources, both from D&D and from other publishers, that let you roll
Just waiting for a family to come down that path, like walking their dog or something.
a 20-sided die, pretend to be an elf, fight some goblins, tame an owlbear, and maybe even slay a dragon in a dungeon. But most of them cost a lot less money than this one and have fewer rules to read. Now,
see, if you read between the lines, he is really soft.
Yeah, he
like,
is.
Yeah, like dissing this book. But he'll always have to say like, "Hey, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's good. It's good. But you don't really need it."
based on those claims, you can probably tell that while I did receive this book for free from the publisher, they have no control over what I say in this review, and they didn't otherwise pay me to make this video. Unlike this video's awesome sponsor, Chepeku. Really, the Chepeku Patreon is a library of over 4,000 professional RPG maps that you can get for $5 for D&D or whatever. They got it all. A blacksmith.
I don't know about whatever.
Yeah.
So to be safe, let's just start with the
here to a grocery store. I couldn't use one of those $5 maps. It's not about the whatever part, but
best way to judge a book. By its cover. This party of heroes facing down a red dragon that you can kind of see down here, but clearly the
he's given the same criticism we did. You can't see the fucking the villain on it. Yeah,
I didn't know it was a red dragon. I thought it was a gold dragon.
Yeah, no, that's the
gold
real
dragon's
hero.
one up there.
Oh, that's the red dragon's the one we don't see.
Yeah, the red dragon we don't. That's like maybe it's Tiamat and it's both. Who knows?
Focus is on the...
Cal, you're saying Bob is 6'5" or 6'6"? No.
He's got to be a rail. Look at those shoulders. He doesn't have 6'6" shoulders.
That shirt's a medium.
Are you being Cal? Cal, do you know that for a fact?
Did you say medium?
I said medium.
He's a medium. Is that Old Navy?
No, it's just something I just threw out there.
All right, I thought you learned that there.
Characters, and on the massive gold dragon, a reference to D&D's 50th anniversary in 2024. It's good stuff. And without a doubt, the artwork in this book, and here's some on the screen, look at it. This artwork sets D&D apart from almost every other fantasy RPG book today. It is more vibrant, more detailed, and more abundant than what most publishers can afford. And generally speaking, I think it was money well spent.
That ain't good.
Wait a minute, what?
That ain't.
That's the Bard, huh?
That's what you get. You get the inconsistency, you know, because you got like the axe guy on the other side of the page was fine, but I mean, come on, dude, that's. And I know people are gonna say like, "Oh, you're such a stick in the mud, you old boomer, you."
Chris Miller was a denim specialist at Old Navy back in the day.
Oh,
Chris.
Man,
I
you
knew
guys
that we had
are,
a connection.
Yeah, we got to get you guys together to talk shop.
We are at a Gen Con.
There you go.
A lot of it just leaps off the page.
He's gonna be working
and
your
really
booth, Chris.
captures that tone of a vaguely medieval-themed superhero. But on the back cover, I find this blurb to be rather misleading. Quote, "This revised and expanded player's handbook is the essential reference for every 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons player." And no way, just last year they released a 400-page PDF, about as big as this, of the D&D 5e core rules, free, under Creative Commons. And sure, it doesn't have any art, but it has everything you need to play, including like 300 monsters, while this book only has like 50. And those free core rules aren't just a big PDF. They're easily navigable on websites like Open5e, Roll20, D&D Beyond, and more. But the main reason that this new book is non-essential is that the publisher has promised to release a new free PDF of these updated core rules soon after the release of the Monster Manual in 2025, and surely all those websites will update soon after. So if you can just wait a couple months, you can play the most up-to-date version of D&D for free. And it's already been out 10 years, so like, what's a couple more months? Now the catch, if there is one, is that these free PDFs do not include all of the same character options as the books for the players who want everything. However, as I will try to make a case for here, the books include way more character options than you'll ever actually play. Summarizing from the table of contents in the 2024 Player's Handbook, about 30 pages explain how to play the 5th edition game system. Roll 1d20, roll high, add a character stat like strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Cool. It teaches you about checks, saves, attacks, advantage and disadvantage, actions and bonus actions, travel, and combat, and it has pretty great examples of play throughout this chapter.
Oof. Hey, Webhead, how you doing? Webhead? Mike? Were you ever able to pull your strings and check in on Scott Garibay after last week? If you didn't, that's fine. He seems like he's fine, but oof. I think even Webhead Mike said that it seemed a little, even for Scott, a little bit off. Just wait a couple of months. Great sales pitch. Guy must be salty over the WotC censorship. I'd be. Yeah, for sure, Mike. Yep.
Hey Cal, the cult I was in, we used to watch Hee Haw like every week.
I wasn't even in a cult and I watched Hee Haw.
Oh, yeah, I think every dad watched Hee Haw.
Roy and who was the blonde?
Buck Owens.
Buck, yeah, that's right.
And then the guy that String Bean, he wore like a night shirt, and then he pulled his pants down to like almost his knees, and that so the night shirt would still be tucked in, and it just made it look like he had super short legs and a super long torso.
Now, was Lawrence Welk on the same night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I remember
we
they
had to
were
watch that too. In
yeah,
the cult
they were like,
and then we watched the Magic of Disney or whatever that show was. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, and then
We watched
Disney.
that.
Yeah, Mutual of Omaha's. Yeah, oh man,
Marlon
it's all
Perkins.
coming back to
Yes.
us. You guys are boomers, man. Damn
Shut
right.
up and eat your porridge.
Really nicely done. But then, there's about 15 pages, half the length of that chapter, just to explain the steps of character creation.
Yikes.
Yeah. And then about 150 pages of options for building your own heroic character. We're talking 12 character classes with different mechanics at various levels, 48 subclasses with mechanics at a couple levels, 16 character backgrounds providing an extra ability or two each, and 10 character species which also come with their own abilities. Whew! But wait, there's more. Yes, another 150 pages covering 75 extra abilities called feats to choose from at certain levels, as well as 38 weapons, each with new mechanical properties, and then about a dozen kinds of armor, about 100 other pieces of gear, and several hundred magic spells to choose from. Over 300 pages for character creation is wild. Among thousands of art.
And by wild, I don't think he likes it. But if you're trying to sell,
I think his hands were full, so he couldn't do air quotes.
yeah, but he would have. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, if he could have. Holy shit, that's just a lot. But you can almost see.
Just cut my fucking hair.
Yeah. I think it's like they don't want to change the rules. So what can you change? Well, we can change how each class is constructed. So we can just kind of jumble things up a little bit. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not sure what is different about this. I mean, other than just more choices, I don't think more is necessarily better.
Laren Jekko saying he saw the PDF and there was Mexican orcs and obese elves.
Oh, jeez. Well, we knew about the Mexican orcs.
Yeah.
Oh, we saw the picture of the obese elf and the cat.
The obese elf is, I have that on one of my thumbnails. Yeah. Laren Jekko says there you go. The PDF, and it's aesthetically ugly. You mean just the way it's laid out, Laren Jekko? I mean, we know Mexican orcs and obese elves are ugly too, but from what I saw, it looked. From what he was showing, it just kind of looked like standard WotC layout. It didn't look bad to me. It just kind of didn't look. It didn't look groundbreaking, but they're a Fortune 500 company.
I didn't know that woman was an elf. I know the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, is that what we're talking about? The obese?
Yes.
I think
the
so,
obese cat.
I didn't know
cat lady.
I didn't know
elf?
she was an elf.
Yeah,
I thought she was an elf.
The obese elf art wasn't in the PHB, says John. Maybe there's there's multiple obese people.
That's a centerfold or something. Who, Roller Pig?
Roller Pig?
RPGs out there today that is not normal. It's a whole game of its own, and people freaking love it. I myself have thoroughly enjoyed the research project that is making a 5th edition character, spending hours reading and watching videos, studying these hundreds of mechanics, and discovering unique ways that I can overlap them to create.
Yeah, he's like a celebrity doing an infomercial
That
when he's
is
in his
nuts.
60s. Give me a break. He doesn't love it. Chris Miller, $5. They give so many options, feats, powers that every PC will be overpowered. Well, they're already overpowered. If everyone is special, nobody is. Correct. But it's insane. But that's kind of what they're leaning into because, look, you're not going to do well if you just sell things to DMs because that's only 25% at best.
So that's the player's handbook part. And when does the DM guide and monster manual come out?
Anybody have a drop date on those? Before the end of the year. I think they're just staggering them. I'm going to guess they'll all be out by the end of the calendar year.
Maybe they wanted you to get this player's handbook so you could spend all this time researching how to build the character before you could start playing.
Yeah, by the time you're finished with the character months later.
I wouldn't be surprised because they did this for 3rd edition. They'll put like some monsters in the player's handbook.
John Osborne said November and February.
February for the monster manual. Okay, yeah, that is a little. So I'm almost positive they probably put some monsters in the player's handbook. Although, why would you need that if the rules haven't changed? You could just use your 5th edition monster manual plus probably, and I'm serious here, dozens of third-party monster manuals that are out there for $5 each.
And Bob just said you can get it for free in a couple months anyway.
yeah, no art. He's talking about the Creative Commons license for these rules. Which, some people are fine with. Look, if you're on a budget, I do see what he's saying. I mean, that wouldn't apply to us probably. I mean, what are these things, like $60? That is getting up there. I mean, obviously we're not getting these, but if I had to pony up $60, I'd pony up $60. I don't know.
Own original hero, it is fun. But for some people, like myself, eventually the game of character creation becomes less fun when you realize how rare it is to actually play that hero, let alone play them into the high levels of the game. And when you finally do that, you see how unwieldy the game becomes at those high levels. I'm not going to dwell on it here, but even the D&D community pretty widely agrees that the game just becomes difficult to manage for both players and game masters, usually around level 10 in this game with 20 levels. And
I was going to say, that's not high, because a lot of the campaigns they sell, it's like, take your character from levels 1 to 15. Well, I mean, good Lord. I mean, my personal experience was players were getting pretty powerful at like 6 level.
Bleeker wants to know how long he was lost in the woods before viewers alerted the rangers.
You'll start hearing a helicopter.
I feel like
my ride is here.
Remember in the movie The Fugitive when Harrison Ford's running through the thing? Like, I feel like this is the same scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm waiting for a helicopter and then like a rescue rope or ladder to like come just down from the top.
I don't have anything against Bob. I think he
I don't
seems
either.
like a nice guy, to be honest.
I bet you if you get him off camera,
I bet so too.
He's probably a nice guy.
The only thing that looks suspect on him, and this is just how I'm thinking, like I wonder what he eats on his pizza. Like
that's a good
Like, oh, let's get a pizza. Excellent. I get mine with mushrooms, pineapple, and spinach and feta. What? Wait, what? I just wanted to get a fucking pizza.
Yeah, I'm gonna say just kind of
like I'm interested in
he's a little
cauliflower
scrawny.
crust. Yes,
He's
Steve
a little
is
scrawny, yeah.
right.
There's probably not a lot of like Italian sausage or meatballs.
Right, because he is like he's wearing a medium.
Yeah.
Crazymouse.
Medium.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
I can't stop thinking about it.
All right, so mushrooms 100%, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that as well.
Yeah, we know that's
pineapples, right?
I love pineapples on my pizza.
Now pineapple, I don't know.
Not
because
with how I described it.
No. It's like a ham.
See, pineapple is like its own, like it's a ham pineapple pizza. It's almost
bacon.
like
Bacon.
you don't order like ham a la carte or pineapple a la carte usually on a pizza. It's like I want a ham and pineapple pizza. At least that's always been my experience. 7 years of pizza. That's all I'm saying. But I could see certainly mushrooms. Definitely, probably green peppers too.
Great Gold Worm is like veggie pizza all the way.
Yeah. It could just be the full like supreme with no,
meat.
but no meat. Yeah, whatever you get like on your supreme, onions, mushrooms, green peppers.
I can't. I could never shine to the whole package, the full Monty.
Patty coming out bold. Loves pineapple on his pizza. But
absolutely.
Bacon or ham only. Yeah, and I never understood why people, like I said, keep in mind, I did work at Pizza Hut for 7 years. So we tried almost everything on a pizza. And I didn't like it all the time, but ham and pineapple on like a thin crust pizza was always pretty good to me back then. Now I've never ordered it like myself, like I want a ham and pineapple pizza. But then there's also like over the years has been like pizza buffets. Remember, like Pizza Hut used to do like the lunch buffet
where you don't have to make a commitment for a whole pie that way.
Yeah, you can just grab a piece, and occasionally they'd throw that on there. And it's like it's a little different.
So like if we were at Gen Con, and let's pretend it's not Hotbox, it's a normal pizza place, and you were eating pizza with this guy, are you giving him full reign to choose the toppings, or do you have to say, hold on, maybe we're not sharing,
we got to
maybe
go half.
We're gonna get
you order your small.
You get your own, or we got to go half on one of these. How many pieces you good for, Bob? He's definitely a supreme hold the meat kind of guy. I would
extra green olives, please.
What if he's like sees this? He's like, you motherfuckers. He's like, I'm a fucking carnivore. Like, I like the meat eater.
I can't help it. I have a weird metabolism.
Yeah, just process that shit like that.
This pizza doesn't have enough meatballs on it.
Like you, so much so that we're talking about having pizza with you.
Yeah, come on, don't ruin our fantasy here, Bob. Jeff from, thank you so much for your membership. The new D&D sounds bloated and unwieldy. You ran riffs. How do you run Conan or loader style adventures in 6e if everyone is a superhero? Well, you don't really. There's better games, better systems for it. You know, Loader, I mean, you have the One Ring, and I got like the rule book, I got the box set, and that seems like a pretty good system if you want to emulate pure Tolkien. Now, the only bad thing is that it doesn't go into like, you know, the business end. But yeah, that's good. Travis, D&D, former pizza slut here too. I enjoy pepperoni and pineapple. Yeah, I'm sure we tried that over the years too, and it was fine too. It just seemed like ham was always the natural. Yeah, Travis, yeah.
And Chris Miller's now going to order a pizza. I'm helping the pizza industry, kind of like how Flavor Flav tried to help out Red Lobster.
As far as Conan, you got to go probably old school OSR, you know, something deadly for Conan. Or the Conan Die 20, I thought did a pretty good job. I got a shitload of those books.
D&D has released data publicly showing that most players just do not play most of the game's levels. So statistically, most of the content in the player's handbook, as fun as it can be to theorize about and tinker with, will never reach your game table. Therefore, if you are a fan of the 5e character creation game, that's great. There's a huge community of players out here, especially in the online RPG community, who share that passion, and you're gonna love this book. But if you're a beginner or a more casual player who just doesn't have the hours and hours to do that research or want to make the time to do it, you can pass on this. You're not missing anything. No FOMO.
He's, like I said, he's not real glowing over this. The only more of a lukewarm response you'll see, like especially like online, is like what people think of like the Matt Colville game, like the MCDM, which is named now. It's called Draw Steel, by the way.
Draw Steel?
Yeah.
It sounds like a gunfighter, which...
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than like a sword.
I mean, I guess it could work both ways, but it is kind of underwhelming.
But I don't know if you were unsheathing your sword, you wouldn't yell draw, would you?
No.
I mean it's what you're physically doing, I suppose, but it's not that big a deal. Like you said, it's more of a thing for gunfighters.
Like in the latest session that we just had, excuse me, on Friday night, I ended up getting a new dirk/dagger, and it's sheathed. I say I unsheath my dagger. I don't say I draw my dagger.
Yeah.
Although you do say I draw my weapons. Sometimes we do say that. I
guess you do say it, but it's not a very good. It's not a good title.
I don't think so either.
Draw blood.
It's just stupid.
Now that could conjure up Judd. That could conjure up images of like a nurse. Like, I'm ready to draw your blood. Get the graham crackers ready. Draw Steel sounds like something actors yell at each other in a dinner theater play.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Faster. Yeah, it's a good point, Crazymouse. Yeah, because you really don't say it that much.
We're going on Friday night from now on.
Draw Steel!
Or, if you're in this hobby as a GM,
Charles
you're not
Nielsen Riley.
responsible for every character feature, so you don't really need it either. Just wait for that free PDF and all those websites to update in early 2025. And you can do what I'm going to do and just look forward to the next D&D box set, probably coming in later 2025.
Wait, hold on. See, I don't like it when he's being disingenuous, and I'll tell you why. He's not going to wait for anything. He just told them that they sent him that book for free. Yeah. So they're going to send him the Dungeons Master's Guide for free.
Yeah.
Then they're going to send him the monster. So he's not going to wait for anything.
Yeah, well, he'll get it before other people. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just
so
like he's probably
it.
had this for a little while.
Zeros, baby.
I bet he probably got his at Gen Con, I'd imagine. Because
Maybe.
he was there. I bet he picked it up. I don't know. The thing is, I don't think he plays 5e anymore. He was... Well, let's just...
My favorite D&D products because they include a condensed version of the core rules, usually like 50 pages or less, with a short adventure, a set of dice, some other helpful accessories, and some of that beautiful artwork, all for about half the price
You got
of
that one?
one
Yep,
D&D
thank you.
book. Because did I mention that D&D actually spreads their core?
Thank you, James. Q-tip with a big schnoz.
Now that Snake Oil pointed out like how those are different color. Now you can't miss them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you, Snake Oil,
Yep.
for a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
4 rules into 3 of these big books. Yes, it's not just these 400 pages. There are 1,200 pages to study for $150, and they have the audacity to write in here that you need all 3 books to play the game, and we all know that's a lie.
Damn.
Called them liars.
Hey. Truth.
Let's get some pizza, my man.
Truth.
I like this, Bob.
I like where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, first round's
Bob,
on me.
yeah. I was gonna say we got the first slice.
You get a pizza. You get a pizza.
He's being disingenuous though, because that's right there. That's the look of a guy who realizes I have to talk about this shitty game for the next probably 6 years if I want to make money on YouTube. You know, and this is he's big enough now. He almost has to. You know, I mean, look, this is his job. I mean, it's probably pretty profitable for him, but he does not like this. He likes DCC. He likes Shadowdark. He does not like this game. Yeah, $5, Chris Miller. You think you hate it now, but wait till you play it. Yes.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. So yeah, I don't want to say I pity Bob. I don't pity him. I on one hand I feel for him, but I almost just kind of wish he would snap out of it and just say, you know what, this game sucks. If you like it, I'm not going to make fun of you, but it
He
sucks.
is right there. Cyrix is all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Leo. Yeah. It's a very good look into his thinking. I know it's just a moment in time, but he's been, if you think about it, like Garibay has like called out Bob for a while as far as like being a secret WotC hater.
Webhead Mike, Double D does have a great
pause.
He gets him pretty close to where we need to be.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a professional.
Bleh. Or if you still want to check out something new today and you prefer that first game, the one that you play with your friends, rolling d20s, pretending to be elves and fighting goblins and taming an owlbear, you got it. I'll give you just 2 quick recommendations that are way easier to read and learn and won't break the bank. Cairn, first edition. The PDF is free on DriveThruRPG. This booklet is only a couple bucks, and it's only 20 pages. You can make simple yet detailed, personable characters in minutes.
He must have some in with the creator. Carabay's going to call out them heretics, says Patrick. Exactly. For sure. Does anybody know anything about Karen? I mean, I'm sure it's fine enough, but does he know, like, because it's an odd choice to call out like a 20-page book. Yeah, that's odd. Who does Karen? I wonder.
Combat flows quickly but smoothly, so much so.
It's got to be like, look, wait, I'll be freely admit, I'll throw Dragon Slayer around because we like the game, but we also like Greg. And it is a good game. It's a good solid OSR game.
Hey, if he's helping his friend, I'm all for it.
I was just kind of wondering because I think I'd seen Karen mentioned before, but I don't know much about it. So
that even new big beefy games coming out like Matt Colville's RPG are taking inspiration from combat systems like this one. And overall, this tiny game puts much less emphasis on rules and much more on creative problem solving, making it great for beginners, casual players, experienced players who just want to try something new. And plus, there's a ton of additional free content for Cairn online. And one other recommendation, just keeping this short, Shadowdark.
Well,
the game has a free quick start PDF for players and game masters, but the full game is so easy if you already know D&D, but just want a streamlined version that fits in one convenient rulebook. Same dice, same stats, same core roll.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that's sitting on my shelf over there. Good game. Off-grid gaming. member for a couple of months. Derpwoods, Bob. Mosquitoes repelled by this toy. I like it.
Characters still have a background, an ancestry, and a class just like D&D, but there's no subclasses, no bonus actions, no feats to worry about. The main difference is that no characters can see in the dark, and spellcasters must roll to successfully cast, like how martial classes always roll to hit. And the spells, monsters, really every written rule is both clear and concise. Like Shadowdark actually just won Best Layout, Best Rules, Best Game, and Best Product of the Year at the only award show for tabletop games that exists. It has a thriving community of players and game masters and third-party creators making content for it. Check it out.
Yeah, I would say that. If you're going to go down the 5e or 6e path, whatever, if you're bound and determined to kind of get into that realm, I would say just get Shadowdark. It's a better version of 5e. Patrick Demo, $2. MCDM, big and beefy, not so much lame and gay. Yes. Thank you, Patrick.
And if you appreciated this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider supporting what I do directly by joining our wonderful community of patrons through the link in the description. Thank you to Chepeku for sponsoring this video. Thank you, and keep building.
I like him.
Let's talk about...
Yeah.
I like him.
I like him too.
Yeah.
I like that he had some negative things to say and wasn't like just totally ballicking for Dungeons and Dragons.
It's kind of his thing now. He's keep in mind though, they did invite him up to Washington last year. That was maybe he got disillusioned after that. Snake Oil finally ordered Shadowdark.
Look at Santa just showed up.
Oh, there he is. Coming in top and bottom there. Gifted 5 memberships. Snake Oil Sean, thank you so much,
That's
Sean.
awesome. Pop that one back up there, Double D.
Yeah. Waiting for them to reprint it now. Oh, they there were some copies available at Gen Con, like Rogan picked one up.
It's an awesome book.
Of which book?
Shadowdark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Shadowdark. So yeah.
And
thank
Mrs.
you.
Double D's big on that game right now too, yes?
Yeah, she liked it quite a bit. Cyrix DX actually ran it for us at VengerCon. So he did a great job too. It's a good little system. It's a good little convention game too. I think you could run a campaign with it too. Just if your players are the kind that need like 30 pages of stuff for your class, like I guess what's in the new player's handbook, maybe they won't enjoy it as much. But
30 pages. I just want like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think there's a difference between like really, really bare bones where there's almost no options for the players. And I can see where it's like, well, does my class get something?
I will say this. I liked when I was a thief, when I'm a thief, and in the one, edition, whatever one it was, and I'm referring to Isaac, he branched off and became an assassin.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that.
Yeah. Yep.
You just can't be an assassin. You have to train for it. So I didn't mind that, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know how many more classes.
It's too many choices.
Yeah, it should only you should only multi-class like with one other class, and it should make sense in the game.
You shouldn't have 15 or 20 or 30 different variations of a fighter. What is that? Of a wizard, that's just...
At the end of the day, it's like different flavors of vanilla. Oh, this is French vanilla. This is, regular
This is extra
vanilla.
creamy vanilla. This is vanilla bean.
It's like at some point you come to the realization this is just fucking vanilla ice cream.
Just cut my hair.
Yeah, just cut my hair. Yeah, 150 pages of character creation. Yeah.
Grack just ordered his copy.
Shadowdark
I don't want to
again.
jack up his name. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Gracked.
He just ordered his Shadowdark. It's in the mail.
Good.
Remember, guys, too, to take a look in the description. Check out Chalt too. Venger's got a new Kickstarter. See if you want to sprinkle a little Gonzo. Yeah, 48 subclasses, Surly. It is a little crazy.
It is. It's too much.
Look, the new people, they like it.
Well, think about this. Okay, so there's 48 subclasses. How many classes are there?
Did they add more classes?
Is there like...
Used to be 12, I think.
So every one gets 4 subclasses on average?
I'm going to guess there's probably a little variation in those numbers.
But just average, right?
But yeah, 4 sounds reasonable.
Yeah, Surly says 12, so, you know,
12
kudos to
classes,
that.
yeah.
So on average, there's 4 subclasses for every class.
Yeah. Yeah, and Chris Miller, keep 4 classes, no multi-class, a few sentences, a backstory, and a few skills. That's really all you need to start. I mean, that's pretty much how we started Otto and Roland. Yeah, the 4 classes, that's classic, like DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics does that. Shadowdark pretty much does that. Look, it's all in, it should all be in, like, this is my guy. He's this archetype. Let's roll. Let's go. You know, not a big backstory. I'm gonna give you things, you know, for myself to brag about as I accomplish them. You know, if I survive. So, do you guys want to watch a little bit of this is a recent interview with James Introcaso, MCDM. Draw Steel.
Draw Steel.
We can watch a little of this until it's...
Snake Oil ordered the Chalt base book when Venger said he put psionics in it.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, we love Venger. I think I'm gonna give in and just get like probably the $40 tier. Get myself a Chalt book.
Brack says he would enjoy your Hey, can you in your next post put down how you want us to pronounce that? But Double D, he wants to get your opinion of Karen.
Oh yeah,
everyone
would definitely enjoy Double D's opinion of Karen. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Is it just kind of like an OSR, kind of like another OSR?
Grack,
which is not necessarily bad.
That's how he wants it. Double D.
Grack.
Grack.
Like something Klingons would eat.
Chris Miller just ordered some pizza.
Garabay's on the way.
2 pieces are going to be
squeezing in a video.
Let's talk about the power roll real quick. For someone not familiar, what is the base mechanic for the power roll for using the ability?
Yeah, so I think last time I was on the show, we had a different core mechanic. So I won't get into what that was because it's moot. Doesn't matter.
The question is moot.
It's 2 die 6. And now it's 2 die 10. Double zeros, baby.
Double zeros, baby.
So now we have this whenever you basically do anything that has risk or drama associated with it, right? The same times in a D&D game, you'd roll a D20. In our game, you roll 2D10. Now, we got there, honestly. We weren't just trying to be different than a D20. We started with 2D6. And then we were like,
we're trying to click on
it. And it just turned out that 2D10 was working for us and hitting the sweet
thank
spot.
you.
We can get into why if you want to. But the basic idea is you have 3 different outcomes whenever you roll. So if you're familiar with Powered by the Apocalypse style games, or I think a lot of Forged in the Dark games do a similar thing, right? You have these 3 different outcomes where if you roll an 11 or lower, right? So this is roll 2d10, add some modifier, basically one of your characteristics, and there might be some other modifiers based on how you've built your character. So if you get an 11 or lower, right, that is the worst result. Now, depending on what you are doing, the worst result could still be okay, right? So
there's no failure in this game. God, it's everything about this game is so underwhelming. I'm not saying it's going to be terrible. It's just so underwhelming.
What game is this?
This is the Matt Colville MC Draw Steel. This is Draw Steel they're talking about. Yeah. They started out like, oh, we're going to do essentially like a Powered by the Apocalypse ripoff. And maybe they realized like it was too close to it. So they changed it up. And now it's just kind of like it's roll 2 die 10. Well, that's almost like rolling a die 20. You're dealing with like infinitesimal percentage differences in the outcome. Patrick Demo, $5. Last time I was on the show, the core mechanic was different. The Kickstarter's been over for months. This says all I need to know about the game. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. It's on one hand, it's Matt Colville's fans, and like 90% of them are just morons.
Thank you, Cal, for putting that link in there. It's also
thank you,
in the
Cal.
description,
Yep,
too.
yep, in description. But yeah, thank you, Cal. You can throw that in
Thanks,
there.
Cal.
Crack says James Intercasso looks like he hasn't slept in 15 years. Yeah, kind of. He's got Matt Colville breathing down his neck, trying to like make a quote unquote new and exciting heroic fantasy game. And really, it's just, look, this is just a different form of D&D. And all right, so instead of rolling a die 20, we're rolling 2 die 10. You're still getting to 20. The target number, it's not like set, for each task. Like, the DC is 15 or it's 20. It's static. It's 11, 18, 11 and under, 18 and under, and then, 19 and 20. It just seems so underwhelming to me.
Combat, all of your actions that are available to you, in general, 11 or lower is still going to do something, right? We have this philosophy that I talked about last time, and I'm sure you've talked about too, about like, we don't want there to be a wasted turn where somebody does nothing on their turn, right? So you roll this.
But if you make like the lowest one like so inconsequential, it is sort of like doing nothing. And then I think people will start to realize like, I really didn't do anything, but this game is giving me a little participation trophy in the form of 2 damage. It looks like if you roll there. And we've talked about it before. Like sometimes failing is doing something. You are actively screwing things up, and it's not your fault.
Well, it's also changing the course of how the next person can react. So, like,
Well, we talked before. We've had situations in games where a failure on certain roles really changed the direction of the game, the whole adventure.
It has. And your character should have to live with the consequence of I failed there. What's wrong with that? We don't want a wasted turn. What is a wasted turn, James? If you fail to hit the bad guy and then the next person goes down because of the bad guy, all right, so you end up killing the bad guy afterwards, but guess what? Your character is going to live with that guilt. Like, I could have stopped him and I didn't. That's good. That's good for role-playing in case you didn't know that. I thought you would have understood that, seeing as you're a game designer and presumably a game player. There's no such thing as a quote-unquote wasted turn. You're getting your information from these tourists that are in the hobby right now who view it like a video game.
And an attack still going to do a little bit of damage, still going to maybe have a little effect, that kind of thing. If you are out of combat and you're making a test, right? What would be called an ability check in D&D, what we call a test in our game. When you make that test, right, you do want the option for failure. Failure is dramatic. Failure is interesting. Failure is going to probably push the story forward in some way, or at least have some kind of outcome. Otherwise, you wouldn't be calling for a roll at all.
So, it's just, again, it makes no sense. So in the ultimate life or death struggle, you can't fail. But, bargaining with the shopkeeper or picking a lock, you certainly can fail. Why? Like, I don't understand why failure is not an option for something that's literally life and death for, the party, perhaps.
Right. And so 11 or lower, worst result, and then your 12 to 16 result is like your mid-tier result. It would be called success with complications in Powered by the Apocalypse. We don't necessarily have success with complications. Like I said, if you're attacking right now, it's a little bit more damage, a pretty decent effect. And then if you get 17 or higher, right, that's when you get your best version of whatever it is you're trying to do. Your awesome out.
I almost hesitate to say it, but it sounds like a more boring version of Powered by the Apocalypse. It just, at least Powered by the Apocalypse has, you have to think of some things, for the middle one, success with consequences. Oh, we don't really do that here. Well, what is it? Just fail, succeed, and critical? Okay. But it doesn't seem to mesh with what you're going for here.
You're dealing the most damage. You're having the greatest effect with your 17 or higher. And then we also have a crit.
Yep.
Now 2d10, it's only going to show up 3% of the time, right? If you get a natural 19 or a natural 20, you get a crit.
I'm almost fine. Yes. We'll pull the plug on this in a second.
Lord Otter, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like I would, if this was Friday night, like this wouldn't be fun.
No, it wouldn't.
That's
not at all.
It's not. It's like, yeah, well.
Yeah, it's stupid.
When I told you, it's like underwhelming. Thank you, Lord Otter, by the way, $5. Nothing about this game is inspirational. It's supposed to be heroic fantasy.
Oh, it's inspirational to buy a different game.
Yeah, you're inspired. But keep in mind, they've raised over $4 million on the promise that, it's Matt Colville. And that's, I think, why he had to do it. And in some respects, he's a charlatan. Yes. But it is his fans, and they deserve it in some respects. So I can't blame him for taking advantage of his moronic fan base. In the same respect, this game is just there's no draw to it. What's the draw to it? The mechanics are just a jumbled up version of D&D. It's like confusing.
Confusing is a great word to use.
Yeah, he goes on to say I will give James Introcaso this at least. He was very brutally honest because I had heard this from people who have played this game, play tested it. The players themselves are okay, although the character sheet's kind of a mess. They kind of get it, and I'm sure they're probably looking for the best possible outcome. So
Double D, I have a question for you. The players that they tested it on and with, are they all experienced players, or are there any new players?
Well, it's his Patreon.
Yes.
So essentially, it's pay for
I'm telling you,
a sneak peek.
If you just grabbed, hey, we want to get some people interested in this game, and you were at I've been to Gen Con. I know it's been a couple years, but this was all before COVID, and there was a lot of interaction. Remember, you'd be walking by a table, and someone would say, "Do you want to learn how to play this game real quick?"
Yeah.
And they could explain it in 3 minutes. Then you're playing and having fun.
Right.
Hey, we're going to take about 2 hours to explain this game for you.
You would not be able to do that.
I'm done. I'm out.
He's leaning into that whole kind of 4th edition kind of, a lot of crunch. But I've heard the players are fine, and they probably want to like it. It's the DMs that have to run this game that are pulling their hair out because they keep forgetting because there's things called villain points that you get every turn, and there's all kinds of little fiddly things that you have to remember. And to give that James Introcaso credit, he does say later on in that interview, if people are complaining about it, it's a problem and we need to get rid of it. So, which is fine, but what are you replacing it with then? You know what I mean? Blues is where you play 3 notes for 1,000 people, and jazz is where you play 1,000 notes for 3 people. This notion is lost on me here. Yeah, I like that. I don't think I had ever heard of that.
True story.
I like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Look, it's almost beside the point to say whether it's going to be good or bad because you've already bought it. Most of the people that are gonna buy it have already bought it via Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. So it's you best just get used to it.
Kind of you want that timeshare, you got to sit through this 2-hour video and then you can get $100 off your vacation. Yeah. You want this book? You want to play this game? I need about 4 or 5 hours of your time I can explain the rules.
I think the timeshare comparison is apropos because I think at the end of the day, that's what this is going to be. And as I've said before, what's the support going to be like here? I don't know if they've talked about licenses or that, or who would want to license a game like this. It's just it's like a combat game.
If this was Shark Tank, I could just picture Mark Cuban been like, "I'm out."
Yep.
It's
not for me.
It seems like a poorly orchestrated con. You know, it's a from watching his videos a handful of weeks back, listening to them talk, and then you get the details from the Patreon. They got Patreon guys got to actually play it. They demoed it, which the game that didn't have a name. But my Patreon people, they know the name, and it just, and if you act now, you'll get the second sheet of snakeskin. It's $4 million scam.
It's amazing that they had so little idea of what they were doing when they launched a Kickstarter. I mean, they should have at least been at this point before they even thought of like going live with the Kickstarter. They should have at least been like, oh, this 2x6 just ain't gonna work. Let's do 2x10, so we can hit the ground running with that. And then, you change a few things here and there, but good Lord, they've changed the central mechanic. Now they're going to change what the DM has to do every single turn. I mean, I don't want to say I feel bad for them because they're the worst fans out there by far, Matt Colville fans. But man, yeah, you guys are in for. There's an acronym, BOHICA. Bend over, here it comes again.
Yeah, boy.
In about 2 years, that's the way it's going to be. You're going to be trying to run this thing, and you're just going to be like, I can't. Why is this game so boring?
Double D, you mentioned it as well. That's clicking inside my brain right now. The support. Who's going to write adventures for this? These people can't. They can't even get their game out.
Well, James Intricasso wrote an adventure, and I looked on Twitter. I just did like a search, MCDM, play or whatever. Some people were saying like, "Oh my God, this introductory adventure that we're supposed to play test with is terrible."
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And I'm like, these are supposed to be your fans. I mean, at least Wizards of the Coast, when they did, I think the original 5th edition, I think they did like Fan Delver, which was a pretty well thought of, like playtest adventure. This, so I will continue to watch from a distance and go.
Saw that coming. Saw that coming too.
All right, we'll finish up with a little bit of spy stuff. I just rediscovered these. Do you guys
Spy versus Spy from Mad Magazine?
Not quite. Spy RPGs. Do you guys know what number stations are?
I don't. I've heard of that from various different businesses, but no.
I'm going to show you in a moment.
All right.
So in the Cold War, the primo period for spies.
Okay.
If you were a spy, let's say you're a NATO or a U.S. agent in East Berlin behind the Iron Curtain, and you have to get a message from headquarters. They figured out that you could do these things. They're called one-time pads. Do you see that?
I feel like that's
gibberish
from A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, complete gibberish. The only way that makes sense is if you have the numbers to tell you, and I'm sure they gave them other bits of advice, which rows and letters to use. So they would do this via shortwave radio. And these radio stations would come on and broadcast via shortwave, and they are crazy. They're like literally like almost like spooky in some regard. I put together like a 2-minute version with just a couple of them. So if you guys don't know what number stations are, this is them. This was just on the front end of one.
This is a test.
I do like the retro.
60 seconds, the station will conduct the test. of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test.
Creepy.
So what you do is like you'd be on at a certain time, and those each of them, like each country would use like different signifiers. Like this is that weird, you know, those weird little chimes there show like, oh, this is the station you're supposed to be on, and then like a programmed voice would give you like your instructions. This is, I don't know if this is like Soviet or like. This is British.
It is creepy.
You're listening to this on one of these.
39715. 39715.
It's called the Lincolnshire Poacher.
Launch order 66 says OGG.
Listen to this one. This is a different one, actually. These are called the gongs. These were East German, the Soviet ally, East Germany. These weird gongs.
I feel like right now we are in that movie Signs, and we're Joaquin Phoenix in the closet.
Yeah. Just go down this rabbit hole. Somebody, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, interesting, Chris Miller. Yeah, that was probably, I think that was the genesis of it. But I've lost my train of thought there. Yeah, these are like super creepy. If you go down the rabbit hole and start watching these, I know what I would say. A few years back, like it was like the early aughts. It's post Cold War, but a group of hackers said, "Can we do this type of thing with voice over internet protocol?" So what they did is they put an ad in Craigslist. $2, Patrick Demo. Broadcast that launched 100 creepypastas. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Patrick. So these hackers started essentially a fake number station with voice over internet. So what they did is they posted an ad on Craigslist and said, "Mein Fräulein." You can look it up. It's like the Mein Fräulein messages. It's like, it says, "Where were you?" And it gave a phone number. So it's like out there for the public. You called that number, and essentially you got one of these number stations. It was like a guy's like voice, and then people were just trying to figure out what the heck was this? And there was like 6 other messages, and of course it was just a bunch of hackers just seeing if they could do something like this. But holy shit, is this kind of stuff creepy? So it did get me thinking. Real quick. Some of this is the game. If you recall in a recent video, I said we had a guy, Chris, who was DMing this, and he was leaving our group. He was moving, and he was running Spycraft thing, and this is the one where, oh no, you guys weren't even close to being done. Like you had like 6 more sessions. Well, then why did you choose to? But I was just thinking of like some of the pretty good spy games out there. If you guys don't have like Spycraft, this is a really solid game. And I mentioned this on the Surprise Saturday stream. If you look here, go over here. Vitality and wound points. Already a fan. I like that. Now it's 3rd edition based, so it's skill based. I do like the vitality and wounds, but you have your traditional stats here, D&D stats. Could be a little clunky at times. But this game I thought was actually pretty good as far as like spy games go. I had not a ton, but a decent amount of stuff for it. Modern Arms Guide. This is kind of like the Q manual for James Bond. I think this was a bunch of adventures, maybe. Yeah, I think these were just adventures. Gentleman's Agreement. This is Aldrich Entertainment, AEG. Most Wanted.
Doc just showed up.
Doc, good to see you. Good game. See, they used to draw women beautifully.
Did we play this like a one shot of this as well after Chris did his?
I know we played. I don't know if I ever ran it. I don't know if Sean ever ran it.
Snake Oil's asking if that's a box set.
Spycraft, no, it is not. You'd have to track it down now. I don't know if anybody's been able to re-release it. Yeah, Magnificent Devil says AG released a bunch of stuff. That was in the golden age where there's just so much stuff out there. Now this is another game that came out just probably 7 years ago. And I got to say, this is top secret. Everybody's like, ooh, top secret. The fond memories of the original top secret from TSR. This is the same guy, Merle Rasmussen. But I got to tell you, like, as nice as this box set is, like, there's a nice little adventure here. There's some good doodads and stuff, as you can see. But this game is a little busted. It's overly confusing. I remember. I just remember reading through it and being like, "Oh, this is just totally like it's not very." It was kind of like the MCDM of spy games. As much as I love Merle Rasmussen for Top Secret and all that, this game was not very good. I don't know if anybody else got this. It was a Kickstarter, but this was so disappointing. That Top Secret. So I gave you one good one, one bad one. Now, for the kind of game, like if you want like the mood of like those number stations, pick up the original Top Secret if you can find like PDFs probably at this point, because print copies are going to go for a lot more money. Or Spycraft would probably do good. I think you can run the 60s pretty well. James Bond is a great game. It's a little clunky nowadays. I mean, I have fond memories of this. Me and Gavin Morgan played this game a lot. But this is a particular kind of like spy game. Then we all know like kind of the the cliches, the motifs that you're expected to have in a James Bond. So you're kind of like in a different realm. It's not kind of that real dark, like you're sitting in a dirty apartment where you're wondering, all right, am I going to live? Am I going to live through the night, or is somebody come bursting through that door and just kill me? James Bond doesn't simulate that well. Spycraft might. Yeah, exactly, Shark. The distance between looking at women in Bond compared to women in New D&D. Yep. Yeah, Top Secret, Overkill Joe. Yeah, I hate to say it. It was such a disappointment. Spies Like Us. Do you guys remember that movie?
I do.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd and
Chevy.
Chevy Chase. But it had Dan Aykroyd's wife, right? Donna
Dixon.
Donna Dixon. Ah, that was a good movie. I have fond memories of that.
Donna Dixon was on not Bosom Buddies. Wait, was it Bosom Buddies? Where they lived at the Susan B. Anthony Motel? Tom Hanks and Peter.
Yeah, Peter Scolari. Yeah. See you, Chris. Thank you for stopping in.
Good night, Chris.
Good night, Chris.
A golden earring playing in the background. Yep.
Garibay showed up with his pizza. I wonder how many pieces are missing.
Plucked off all the pineapple.
Mercenary Spies and Private Eyes from Flying Buffalo for a pulp style. Yeah, that might work. Yeah. The thing is, you could, if you knew how to do like a rudimentary, like just number pad or something, you could do something with that number station like motif if you're running like a spy game. I've always wanted to do that, but the problem is to run a good spy game, you only you got to have a small party. It's like 1 or 2 people. Spycraft does a good job with like a group because you have like a group of like there's a face man, a driver, and kind of like
A-team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, almost like that. But it also handles like the smaller ones reasonably well. You could certainly do it, Shark. Yeah, smooth. You could do Spycraft with 007 setting. You just might have to rein in a couple of things. The thing about James Bond is, and this is why I always liked it as a kid when I was playing, because it was just me and Gavin Morgan. So it was like, if you think about the Bond movies, he's almost always by himself, So it's like James Bond is the perfect one-on-one spy game. Perfect. Spycraft can handle one-on-one, but it can also do groups pretty well. Grognard says Easy D6 has an espionage game. It's not a genre that gets a lot of truck these days, but I tell you, for a little change of pace, it's not bad. Mission Impossible. Yeah, Spycraft would simulate that pretty darn well. I know they did have like a 60s source book as well for Spycraft, so you could go back and, like I said, do some of these other things. Yeah, some of those things are so creepy. Those just look up on YouTube number stations. You'll get like a whole host. And those are real recordings, by the way. Like ham radio people, shortwave radio people, like stumbled onto those. And at first nobody knew what the heck they were, and then they figured out like, oh, these are like for spies. But they did record them. Like those are legit recordings.
That's wild.
It's crazy to think what they could have been like, the messages they could have been sending with those. Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah, Spycraft is going to be a little more accessible just because it pretty easy to understand, especially if you're familiar with 3rd edition.
Disco.
Yar. Disco for $10. Sorry I'm late. The monkeys escaped the shit show today. It took a while putting them back, trying to avoid the monkeypox. Hope everyone is good tonight. We are.
Thank you very much.
Better
Holy
that you're
cow.
here. Yes, thank you so much.
Hope you're safe, Disco.
Everyone pop that like button. I took a peek and there wasn't a.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, there was plenty of likes.
Costs
always have plenty of more.
Costs nothing. Yeah, the Cold War was fun for them. Well, it was. It would have been interesting. We grew up in the tail end of it. I kind of came of age, in the mid to late 80s, or, early to mid 80s, became a teenager. It was scary there for a few years, when Soviets are shooting down like jetliners and stuff like that. But fortunately, we had a real president, Ronald Reagan.
Tear down that wall.
Tear down that wall, yeah. Easily the best president of my lifetime. Certainly top 5 of all time, in my opinion. So he always felt like he was a steady hand at the rudder. But yeah, it certainly was an interesting time. It's kind of it's almost like a little scarier now that there's not like that sort of control. Even though we hated the Soviets, there was like a mechanism and control there, and there's just so many bad actors out there now. All right.
There's no civility in it like it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be a gentleman's game,
Yes.
right?
Uh-oh.
We got a live one here.
JJM Director, $10.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. A Heat style RPG would be interesting. Yeah. Get your crew together and pull high-end jobs. Yeah, that's another thing that you could simulate really well with Spycraft.
Good movie.
Yeah. You'll, with a shiesty fence, avoid the heat, arrange your escape. Anything like that out there. Honestly, again, Spycraft would do that pretty well. I don't know of anything recent. You could probably track down the PDFs for Spycraft. I'm sure they're out there. But yeah, doing kind of like even like an Ocean's 11 style thing, Mission Impossible. Those I think you could simulate well, and yeah, those would be fun as hell for like one shots.
I never watched the Mission Impossible movies.
I've watched a couple. The first one was good. There was one with Henry Cavill in it recently, which I think I saw, which is pretty good. Disco Barbarian, $5. Got to chase and be chased by Soviet subs during the end of the Cold War. Good times. Oh wow, you were under the water, huh, Disco? Damn. I bet you have some stories to tell, my friend. We'll have to see if we can get Disco on. I'm thinking maybe next week. I'm gonna have Aaron on from Immortal Rising, and I may just kind of like Immortal Rising Comics. We've had him on before. He's launching the second one. Thinking of maybe just kind of opening it up too.
Open mic night?
Open mic night, yeah. I'd love to hear a story or two there, Disco, if you're allowed to tell. Well, I'm sure it's probably declassified now. The USS Pargo, $650. Damn. God bless you, sir. My wife couldn't fathom being in such close quarters.
She is a claustrophobic.
Oh, my Lord, yes. Runs in the family. Her brother will not go on an elevator. Like literally, like almost didn't get a surgery done because they were gonna, they take the bed in to like, they just roll the bed into an elevator. He would not. He said no, I can't. I won't.
They got a B.A. Baracus him.
Yeah. U.S. Navy nuke mechanic. Whoa.
That's big action.
God, this chat is interesting people, man. I keep thinking of like the chat of like people like that actual Jake, the guy who occasionally will take a shot at me, and it's like literally just a bunch of drug addicts and probably like child lovers in the wrong way. We got like guys that are like really freaking smart here and have done stuff.
Yeah, people have done some shit.
Done stuff, yeah.
People that have fucking lived.
I don't know what you're doing hanging around me, but I guess I must at least attract
Double D, were you
interesting
eating
people.
Gum that's blue and white earlier?
What's that?
Were you eating any gum that was blue and white earlier?
Like that?
You were?
Kool-Aid. It was Kool-Aid.
Okay. Just checking.
Got a little bit of it left too.
I'm referring to not your tongue. There's gum on your monitor over here. Looks like
gum. Oh no, that's sticky tack.
All right. Okay. Yeah, gum. Yep.
It's blue tack. It's legit.
I believe you.
I didn't just choose it.
Touch it, then lick your finger.
There you
Touch
go.
it.
When we were at
about what's her name from Willy Wonka.
When we were at an amusement park when I was younger, I asked my mom for a piece of gum, and she said no. And some guy took some gum out and put it on a fence post. I went over and took it and was eating it. My mom's like, where'd you get that gum? I'm like, that guy over there, he gave you a piece? I said, no, he was done eating it and he put it on that post and I took it.
I rescued it, Ma. I rescued this piece of gum. It's probably why you're never sick, right?
I mean, it could be. I was a newspaper boy. I used to just deliver in my shorts all the time, so I just gained an immune system from that.
You do rarely get ill.
I don't get sick.
I don't recall you ever getting the flu.
I never got COVID. I never got the flu. I'll get a cold every once
It's
in a while.
delicious, Surly. It's delicious.
Where's my $2? That's right. I was the paper boy in our neighborhood. I had to go collecting. It was back in the day. You had to go door to door and ask them for the money for the month or the week.
I used to help out my friend Andy. He was like a cheap Pollock. So he'd be like, "Oh, I'll go buy you a pop at Bilo." This store is like BI-LO. It was like the Dollar General of its day, like back then. So I'd get like a off-brand like cherry cola or something. That was awful. Me and him ended up having a falling out, and he's one of the only guys I've ever gotten into a fight with. The last guy I got into a fist fight with, and I broke right here on his fat head. I had him lined up. We were gonna do it. I said, "All right, well, I'm launching." I said, "Are we gonna do this?"
Draw
He's
steel.
Like, yep. He said, "Draw steel." I had him lined up perfectly, and he flinched, and I got his big fat head. So I ended up breaking this this bone here. I think I've told that before. I didn't want to be like, all right. I tried to tune you up, so I kind of let him like. It wasn't even like he just kind of badgered me around. He like pulled my sweatshirt over my head and just kind of badgered me a little. And then when I felt he had enough, I said, "Hey, I just broke my hand on your head. So can we call this?" He's like, "Yeah." He said, "You almost got me." I'm like, "Yeah, well, now I'm going to the hospital." I remember my parents were out of town too, so I had to lie to my sister-in-law who was watching me. Like, "Oh, I fell off my bike." She's like, "You don't have any like gravel or scratches or anything?" And I'm like,
I landed on a tree.
I don't know.
I landed on some guy's head.
It's the immaculate break. I don't know. And then I got, for that lie, I got properly punished because the dumb fucks at our hospital didn't set it right. So they had the doctor like 2 weeks later had to re-break it. Ouch.
For me not being sick, they brought it up. I just lost it because it's all of the, Travis says it's all the ibuprofen I used to eat when I was younger. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there it is. I see it now.
Yeah, I remember you said you went through that stage where you were just eating it
was
like candy.
It was crazy amounts. Yep.
That's a shame too, because you'll suffer with headaches now, and I'll be like, just taking a Tylenol or a couple Tylenol.
I just
He's
don't.
like, nope, I don't do that anymore.
I don't do that.
I don't blame you, because if you feel like it, maybe I messed up something inside,
Or just, I do have a addictive personality, and I'm
Right.
just nervous that I could start some. And I get it, guys. It's just Tylenol, but I'm just nervous what it could lead to.
Right.
It's
So
fair.
I don't do it.
It's fair, yeah, for sure. See, Aaron's in the chat. Immortal Rising. Why it's not?
We had a lively chat tonight.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it was like a delay here. Very lively. Yeah, Aaron will be on next week, I believe. We're going to have him on for a little bit, probably the first segment. And he's got Immortal Rising 2 coming. I have the first one, and it's good. So I can't wait to sign up and
looking forward to it.
Yeah, support the second one.
We got a character to roll up tonight, yes?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, maybe in lieu of we'll tell you what, we'll maybe that's our cue to jettison the regulars. We'll see where we're at, but Roland as of now is RIP. So Rogan has to roll up a new character for Otto and Roland. So those of you that aren't into the live play, I thank you for stopping by. Join us next Wednesday. We'll have Aaron on for Immortal Rising. And like I said, I may open it up. Just do it on StreamYard. And yeah, maybe we can talk to some of you guys, those of you that are willing to hop on in. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks to Venger. Check out his new Gonzo fantasy, essentially like how-to book. Link in the description.
Yeah,
of
link it
this
in the
video.
description.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. We're at 67.
Yeah. Before you
which
fly,
I'd love to see a lot more than that.
You guys can do better.
Before you
I'm
fly,
sure.
hit that button.
Yeah.
And just like that, 3 hit it. Thank you.
Raven Master. It's his cousin Poland. All right, so all right, you guys that don't want to stick around for this, you take care.
Thank you, everybody,
Yep,
for
thank
tonight.
you. And the rest of you, well,
you guys rock.
Well, here we are. All right, so last time, Otto and Soraya made their escape from the Tower of Set, and they got out of the city, out of Port Prospera.
2 medium-sized bags, 2 large-sized bags.
Yep. Between the two of you, or just you?
That's what the two of us have.
Okay, yeah, 2 medium.
I
2
took the
large,
2
yeah.
mediums.
Yeah.
This greedy gobstopper took 2 large.
So you guys headed out of Port Prospera, heading in the direction of Stormhold.
Correct.
Just to get out of town, because the Tower of Set realized what was happening, and you can bet they are looking for you. Of course, tragically, before that, Roland passed away. Killed by the Guardian of the Treasure Room. So, unfortunately, for now,
Surly says I should have ditched her.
yeah, she kind of latched onto you as you were leaving.
I didn't want to take her with me, but ditching her just seemed more dangerous for me.
Yeah, for sure.
If she would have gotten caught, me and her don't know each other. She could have said, "Oh yeah, I know exactly who. Let me go. He forced me to do it. Blah 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 blah." I thought of all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I tell you what, can you Crazymouse, can you handle the mic for like 1 minute?
Absolutely. We are getting Rogan's getting his dice out. He's gonna roll up a new character tonight. I don't know how much we're gonna be able to do tonight, but gonna get it going. Rap battle time. Just don't wake up with an extra smile. I won't be.
Okay. All right.
If she catches an arrow, I'll have 4 bags of treasure.
I think they're leading you to a course of action, Crazymouse, as far as Soraya goes.
And Rogan, I did take Roland's ring. I have it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, he did say that. All right. Now, you said that you would be amenable to a fighter, right? Yeah. All right, do you want to roll your stats right here?
Was Roland technically a fighter as well? Yeah.
Get this little tramp out of here. All right, so
that's
perfect.
Perfectly lined up right there.
Perfect. All right, so you know the drill. This is an OSR type game. It's traditional D&D.
Before you roll, grab your notebook.
Oh yeah, yep. This is so exciting.
In Greg's game, does he do 7 rolls and then pick the top 6?
I think he does Does he do 4 dice 6? Yeah, I can't remember if he does 4 dice 6.
I thought he did one of two ways. Either he does 4 dice 6, or he rolls 7 times and you take the top 6 numbers.
Well, we'll raw dog it here. we'll see where we land, where we end up. Maybe we'll do that if we'll do 7 and then you take the top 6. So yeah, so that was pretty good actually off the bat. Like, all right, standard 11. Gotta have a couple of them. 3 dice 6, 7 times where you want them, and Travis knows.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yep.
yeah, we'll
3
do
dice
one.
6. Yeah, me and Travis are on the same page.
Yep. 14. That's pretty good. You got a 13 and a 14, right? That's pretty darn good. How many do you have total now? 4. It's 4. 7. And then there, that may be your drop. All right, so this is your 6, right?
This will be the 6.
9. All right, here's your bonus drop. 14. He's pretty well rounded. He did. Get rid of the 7, yeah. So you got so read them out. You got 13, 11, 10, 14, 9, 14. 2 14s and a 13. You can work with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Your second level, right?
Yes.
All right. So you can start at second level. Oh, you want to do your hit points? So you get max at first level. Well, we need to know where you're putting your constitution, I guess.
Easy. I'll put one of the 14s in Constitution, the other 14 in Strength.
There you go.
That was 14 in Constitution and 14 in Strength.
14 con, 14 strength.
Yeah, they might not have heard.
Yeah.
Yep. What's fight or die 10 for hit points?
Die 10. Yep. You're seeing the birth of a legend here. Could be the birth of a legend. All right, so Constitution has 14, so that's a +1. All right, so you got 11 at first level, so now it's 1 die 10 +1. You want to do it over here? Go ahead. Let the yeah. There you go. Not bad.
6 + 1.
Yep. So 7. So 18 total, right now, right?
$18 out of the max 22. That's really good, actually.
Yeah, it is. Your attack and damage bonus is +1 for your strength.
1800 strength.
What's your intelligence? Well, your lowest is 9. 9 to 12 is 0 modifier. Yeah. 14 is the +1. Even 13 is a +1. So what do you put in the 13 in?
Good night, Cyrix.
See ya, Leo. Take care.
Good night.
00, baby.
Oh, yeah, 13 will be the dex.
13 dex, yeah. So you get a +1 dex.
An 11 and a 10.
That's your missile attack and damage modifier. So that's your melee or your missile.
So that's a +1?
Yep. And you get a -1 bonus to your armor class.
Okay, I'll throw the 11 into my charisma and the 10 into wisdom.
11 is charisma and 10 is wisdom. Both 0s. Well, your 11 charisma, you said?
Yes.
Get 3 henchmen. That comes up. And your henchman morale is 7. And wisdom was also, let's see. That's just 0. 0 modifier for your saving throw there. Good. Pull that mic down a little bit. Just a little. There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Slide this back here.
All right. So we have a working character now, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Do you have any names picked out?
I had some in my mind, and they like birds from a bush. that sucks. I'll come up with them real fast.
I'm sure these guys in the chat can help you if you don't.
You guys think of any ideas?
All right. So for now, so you are a fighter, correct?
Yes.
Do you want to be from? We don't need like a huge backstory. Do you want to be from this southern land, any one of the 5 free cities, or would you prefer to be from up north where Otto and Roland?
No, I'll be from down here.
Gonna be from down here?
One of the free cities, absolutely.
All right. Which free city? Do you want to be from? I guess it would make sense if you were from Stormhold. Although if you were from the others, you just have to have an excuse for traveling. I would suppose.
So the guys' plan. Your plan is to go to Stormhold.
Yeah, we just left Port Prospera and that's actually where we ended. We're gonna go to Stormhold.
All right. Yeah. I'm traveling back there.
You're traveling back?
Yeah, I'm traveling from there. I'm traveling back.
So you were in Port Prospera yourself?
Yes.
Leaving. All right. Any particular reason? What is your stock and trade, your business? I mean, I know you're a fighter. Do you do anything with that, or do you have a 9 to 5?
No, I fancied myself as a wannabe mercenary.
Oh, okay. A young buck.
Young buck.
Maybe you've been in a couple of scrapes, but not too many big ones.
A handful of scrapes, yeah. Heard there's a guy whipping up a good crew back home. At least that's what I heard.
Back in Stormhold.
Absolutely.
Okay, that might work. Rudger. I like that. Treyon Arcros. I think they're hitting the old name generators.
Hakeem Shalim Abreen.
I tell you what, you said Rudger, Ryan. I like Rudger Hauer is one of my favorite actors.
Rudger. Nice. Nazim Aljan. Titus Agrippus. Rorik the Hammer. These are all really good. Yeah, guys are nice. Do you have one in mind? Like, have you thought of one?
Oh. You know what? Overkill Joe, I like that one. I like Rorik.
Rorik.
Yeah, I'm going to grab that.
Otto and Rorik.
Is that all right?
All right. Hammer. He calls you the Hammer. Does that mean you fight with a hammer?
Absolutely. Rootin' tootin'.
All right. Let's
Overkill.
Thank you all for those are all like really good
all
names.
You guys.
Yeah. Dazzle beef.
Fresh cut grass.
Fresh cut grass. Overkill gets it.
The big dick daddy from Cincinnati.
All right. So we pick it up. Otto on the left there. Maybe do you want to make a character portrait for your guy? I'll fill in. We'll get Roland off of there for a
two-handed maul, says Overkill.
Ooh, that's heavy damage on that.
Sold.
Now he can say it's hammer time, says Travis. Stop hammer time.
I've always wanted to say that.
You guys, you and Soraya, Otto, ran out in the middle of the night, literally. The dead hour is probably between like 2 and 3. Nothing good ever happens at that time, right?
I second that.
Only something maybe kind of good happened because it doesn't appear anybody's on your tail. The road is quiet. Soraya just says, now you guys are on one horse, I believe?
That is correct.
Yeah. She just says, just follow this road along the coast. It takes us all the way to Stormhold. She says, ride till dawn and then ride some more. She seems a little like, I don't want to say worried, but she's not celebrating yet. Why don't you, Crazymouse, make a Constitution roll, if you could. So you want to roll under this, equal or under your con? What is your con?
14.
14?
I rolled a perfect 20.
Oh. Okay. So about just after dawn, so the sun has risen. You get a little bit tired, okay? And
you rode halfway across the country in the wrong direction.
Not that bad. But you kind of maybe steer the horse a little bit off road. Maybe you're like just kind of catching a quick Z in the saddle.
Is she dozing off as well?
She's still grabbing you. So she's got to be awake somehow. The last thing you hear is like, pull it back. And then the horse goes down into, I guess, what would be sort of a ditch. Now I should describe the scenery here. There's not much in the way of like cover. Okay. So, below you on the seaside, you're pretty close to the sea on this road. There's there's rocks at times. Occasionally there's sandy beach. But it's kind of rough terrain at times. And on the other side is just kind of flat scrub land.
Okay.
Featureless, like there's no forests or anything that you'd even be able to hide in. So you kind of maybe just pull off just enough on that rocky side where the horse kind of pulls up lame.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
I just tell her, I said, we're going to have to just stop for just a little bit.
And she's like,
we've put some distance between us and the city.
Yeah.
The horse needs a little bit of a break. Can't you tell it was heading towards the water? It needs something to drink.
She immediately dismounts. Now remember, she's dressed for adventure. She's not wearing her kind of whoring / slave dress. She's got her breeches on, a shirt. So she looks like, she can do things. She says, razzle dazzle. As she looks at the horse, she says, I think it's lame. She said, she says, you got to stay, on the road. These veer off even a little bit and it's treacherous. She says, well, we can hope for the best. Let's just keep walking if we can.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, she keeps looking back behind her. She says, these people will not stop. We have to leave. One of my favorite historical figures, Surly. Charles the Hammer. Grandpa to Charlemagne. So, you certainly, could use a little rest.
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of pushing you. She says, come on, let's keep going.
Does she mean on the horse?
No. No, the
I'm
horse.
all for walking.
Yeah.
She
means like let's
I'm playing
walk
off
the
that
horse.
this horse needed the break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's keep walking. Absolutely.
Yep.
I'll say I'm so unfamiliar with this area. How close is the next town, Stormhold, or is there little villages or anything on the way?
She says there's one very, very small settlement about halfway. And by small, I mean really small. There's an inn that services travelers on this road. There used to be two, but the other one went out of business.
How far away is it?
She says, well, She says, we have pretty much a full day's travel in front of us. She says by nightfall, but that's on horseback. She says
to get
walking
halfway.
Or
is Stormhold one day?
Nightfall would be halfway, but
okay.
But she said that's on horseback.
Okay.
She said it could take a lot longer, but walking. She says, now you have a weapon.
Good night, Jeff.
Night, Jeff. She says you have a weapon, right?
I do.
She
knows I wait.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
She's just making sure you still have it.
Yeah.
She says we could waylay a lone traveler,
or we could buy his horse from him.
That would lead them. They'd know if the Temple of Set found out about it, they'd know exactly where we were
don't
going.
even have to mention the Temple of Set. We could just say
if we give him any bauble, we'd have to give him straight gold.
We could give him 2 gold pieces for a horse.
2. She says, no. We're talking.
Like, what's the price for a horse? Did I undercut it?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, you're talking at least 50.
We can give him a fair price for a horse, and the reason we need to get to that Stormhold so fast is we have a family emergency back there, and we just need to get there, and we're willing to pay the money to get there so that we don't miss this emergency.
All right. She says a knife would be quicker.
And unnecessary.
She says we could throw his body in the rocks or in the water.
I don't want to do that.
She says, oh, you'll get us both killed. She says, okay, we'll do it your way. It's coming out of your share, though.
That's 100% fine.
Okay. It is morning now. You are starting to see like a couple of travelers. You see a team and wagon coming at you, so obviously that's out of the question. Kind of rumbles from
I'm kind of in my ideal situation, Double D, is I'm looking for like a group of people that maybe has a man and a woman where the woman could double up with a man and we just buy one of the horses.
Yep. Okay.
80 gold for a riding horse per page 43 in Dragon Slayer, says Travis.
Oh, yeah. 80. Oof. We'll say you can get maybe a discount. It'll be anywhere between 50 and 80. All right. 1 is good. X is no. 1 is yes. X is no. No. Okay. You
She is bloodthirsty, JJ. I agree. She's like one of those chicks that sees an MMA fight and they get horny. Like, she saw me slay that guard pretty easily because I rolled really well.
Yeah.
And then she's like, do it again.
Yeah.
You have your knife, right?
Yep.
You know I do. I just killed somebody 3 hours ago.
All right.
She belongs to the streets.
Nothing in front of you matches that description, that you want, like the man, the woman, 2 separate horses. You see lone travelers. You kind of hear her silently grumbling, as you guys are just kind of walking your steed. As your horse has definitely come up a little lame. It injured itself in some way. Coming up behind you, though, is a guy. He's riding a horse, and he has a spare.
A spare?
Yeah, like he's leading. Like he's not obviously riding hard, but he's just leading a horse. Like a spare horse, essentially.
We let him go. Fine, I'll just.
she kills him.
Saddle up, partner.
Saddle up, partner. All right. I'm gonna leave it up to you as to why you have a spare mount. But
I will.
Yeah, you do see he's a younger guy. Any idea of what this guy kind of looks like yet?
His head is shaved. Brown eyes. His head is shaved.
Head is shaved.
Yes. He's
brown
wearing,
eyes.
Wearing scale. He's got a, he's got a big weapon strapped to the side of his horse.
A big maul, right? Big
Yes,
hammer.
yes.
Big two-handed hammer.
Yeah.
She sees and she says, "This one looks like a mercenary. He'll be. We'll be lucky if he doesn't rob us." As he starts pulling up within earshot.
I'll put my hand up and I'll say, "Whoa, a word, please."
Sure, friend. As I subconsciously put my hand on my short sword.
And I just explain our situation. We just robbed the Temple of Set. We got shit tons of money.
Really?
Hand it over.
I used to be a guard there.
I tell him that our horse came up injured and we're trying to get to Stormhaven. Is that the name of it? Stormhold.
It's Stormhold.
We're trying to get to Stormhold, and our horse came up lame.
Did you put the horse down?
No, it's walking with us.
Yeah, they're walking it. Now,
okay.
Right now, you can just picture Soraya has the horse by the reins as she's just kind of listening to Otto talk to you, and she's just kind of like, you can tell she's looking you up and down, but suspiciously.
Right.
So there's a good looking there's a young guy, probably friendly enough, I suppose, and then you see behind him, kind of off,
right,
several feet, is a woman holding a horse by the reins, looking at you slightly suspiciously.
I just explained that we're just trying to get to Stormhold, and if you could.
I'm on my way there right now.
Could we buy this horse off of you or borrow it?
Oh, that's my spare. I don't need him. What do you got?
I mean, we have some coin right now on us, if that's what it would take.
Where are you heading? In Stormhold.
That part we don't know. I'm not familiar with the city that much.
Soraya hears.
I'll say.
Soraya hears you.
Does Soraya really have blonde hair like that? That's
oh
really
yeah, that's
an
her.
accurate
No,
picture?
that's her.
Okay.
That's her.
She's
Yeah.
stunning.
She says, "We are. We head to the Black Lotus Inn."
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, it's a little dicey. I mean, it's not like just full of cutthroats. Like, you walk in, you're going to get robbed. But it's not like a place for that you would know to be frequented by people of status. It's more of kind of maybe like a little bit of a lower class
Where
place.
adventurers go to hang out.
Yeah, where active people meet.
I could pay you like 20 gold right now, and when we get to Stormhold, I could pay you the difference of what you ask.
That's fair.
Okay.
I have friends in Stormhold.
You do?
I do. That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you guys are talking, consummating this deal, Soraya says, "What do we do with this one?" She points to the horse.
We can. I don't want it to suffer, but if we just let it go on its own right now, maybe someone can find it and mend it.
She just shrugs her shoulders and says, "It's fine with me."
I mean, I've only had this horse for 8 hours. I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, for sure.
That might be a cruel fate.
It could be a blessing to somebody in disguise. It could be someone who knows how to fix these horse with a bad hoof. It looks like it just caught its horseshoe in some brush, and maybe it's,
Okay, so as you're looking, because this conversation is taking place, and the way I picture it, like Otto, you'd be looking at what's your name now?
Rorik.
Rorik. Got to get used to that.
Thank you, Overkill.
Rorik. So you're looking at Rorik, who has just come from the direction you have come. So you're seeing the traffic that is coming also from Port Prospera. You notice it's a fairly flat road, and you can see a lone figure on horseback riding like the devil. Like it's probably a good half mile down, behind you, but it's coming your direction, heading from Port Prospera. From Port Prospera to Stormhold. Soraya gets a big, her eyes get really big, and she says,
I think that maybe you should put on your cloak. Didn't you say your ears were getting cold?
You're talking to Soraya?
Yep.
She says, yes, that might be appropriate. She says, this morning chill.
Coming off the waters.
Yeah.
We do have an accord?
We have an accord.
Excellent.
So
I'll give him the 20 gold right. I'll do it slyly so that he doesn't know that we have what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, you're more than welcome to ride with us. We're just going to head right to...
Sure. Share company. Absolutely.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm going 20 gold.
Yes! For a horse I just stole.
Yeah.
Score! Okay. By the time you guys get it consummated, maybe you're getting mounted up on the spare horse, you and Soraya, but that guy is now bearing down upon you. Now he's not like going right at you, but he's going to go right by you.
Mhm.
Okay. So what is your actions or demeanor? Or are you just kind of...
I'm going to try to play it off the best that I can. I'm not going to make eye contact with this rider.
Okay.
I'm
right.
going to, transfer the goods from the other horse to this new horse. Just kind of making busy work. And I just want Soraya to blend in, just like a...
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make an ability check for an NPC right now. So I guess the thing you don't want to see is like a 1, probably. All right. Okay. That is a 12. Nice camera, double D. Lord. This thing does not focus. The guy on the horseback blows right by you.
Again, I'm not making eye contact, so I don't even know who it was.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the chat saying it's Gary Busey or Tharn.
Yeah, who knows? Because you weren't scrutinizing him, it's hard to tell who it was.
That's fine.
They had a riding, cloak on too. So okay, fair enough. I guess we will see next time as you guys. Well, I'll tell you what we can do is we can say that you guys travel throughout the rest of the day. By nightfall, early evening, you pass that inn. And, you're used to getting a little chow at that inn. So do we just say that you guys go have a quick
absolutely.
meal?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we get our room, her and I will keep up this ruse, and we'll just get one room for the two of us.
Nice.
All right. Why don't we stop it here?
Yeah.
Why don't we stop it here? I'll detail. We'll say you're just pulling up. That's your plan to get one room at the inn. Let's just stop it here. And we good. All right. Good job. Way to do it on the fly there, Rogan.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I got news for her. She's dyeing her hair.
Ooh.
Yeah, that beautiful gold
That beautiful
hair
blonde hair sticks out like nothing,
Tell you, it looks like the the carpet and the drapes don't even match to begin with. Maybe she's
just go back to natural.
Yeah, she's just going back to natural.
Which, in fairness, would happen over time anyway, because she wouldn't have the cosmetics to take care of that. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Sir Garibay, the dashers of the door. Get a bite to eat at the shucked oyster. Yeah, could do that. All right.
This is a way to build in there. You could have it be the shucked oyster.
It's just a halfway house, though. Remember, if you you can stay here and stay all night if you wish, or you can just get a bite to eat and then ride through the night, and you'll get to Stormhold by morning. Ooh, Disco Barbarian, $2. No law requires carpet to match drapes. No, it doesn't. Law of the street in this case does it does apply though when you're on the run. Okay, thank you guys very much. Thank you guys for sticking around. Let's see, 42 of you. Yep, seems like the regular crowd. Cal, thanks again for moderating. Thanks to the rest of you guys for showing up, being you, commenting. All you guys that super chatted, gave out memberships. Much appreciated. All right, guys.
Very generous.
Yes,
Thank you guys
very generous.
You said the regular crowd. It made me think of Billy Joel's song.
Regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me. Okay, there we go. All right, I will leave you guys with a little something. See you guys next week. Look at that. Very unprofessional, Double D. You guys take care. Thanks again for joining us. And we will see you on the flip side. Peace.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.